Amazing. Rocky, want to see you.
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
Sunset shield days so long gone, can't bring them back, no magic wand. Counting white cotton clouds, painted on the blue sky's crowd. And yet somehow that way is fate, with eternal hopeful flair. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice creams, yeah. Can't wait to be a free days of you and me. I'm
failing!
I just can't wait for free days of you and me.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and even the U.S. government.
But soon they'll wake up to see the summer sizzle in me.
We're doomed. Will this never end?
Dire wolves back and so are you.
Oh yeah,
Belvedere flying over the moon.
oh yeah.
And everyone's singing just the right tune. Maestro blasting on the jazz flute.
We are all participating in mandatory fun activities.
Jelly bean bonus, every flavor in the bag. Super movie star, but first gotta join SAG.
Keep our eyes open.
Wonder Ken, super friend, where are you? Get a search warrant for the near clear blue.
It's scooping time.
And can't you believe that? We've been waiting on you, can't you see that? Put away the bad things they said to you.
You are a sad, strange little man. Have my
After all, just have to call and say you're some kind of
Because you are the special.
epic. Epic, yeah, that's what you do. I'm talking about epic, it's all you know how to do.
You wake up blue to
Epic, it's on repeat for you. Oh, epic. Epic.
Hear ye, come on, to the never stopping daily strife, and it's called simpler times, they beckon so, floating on the water with no foam. Can we get away now, find a way now, somehow step out of this stream into a dream of slow it down. Jay says that he remembers a place before the never, ever river severed our tranquility. Counting cars by Highway 30, sitting in the porch swing, guessing colors so poorly. Yeah. Is the next one a blue or red one? Maybe silver, maybe gray. What a way to spend a day.
Ladies
and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show!
Well, it's Monday. We're back again.
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again, and boy, do we have a big show for you tonight, coming to you from the mobile studio. So if you see a little green screen, it's okay, ladies and gents. The studio's real, but I'm not really there this time. It looks like it, though, until you look at the cap and the fades. And, well, Lauren, we got wherever we are, whether it's in somewhere sunny USA or whether it's under a scorcher, the blue skies of Florida, in a particular magical place. Lauren, we're ready for a heck of a show tonight, and I can't wait for you to be the Wookiee co-pilot on all of this. Are you ready for the gamut? I mean, this is going to be a show. This is a show tonight, Lauren.
Well, if you say so, I'm anxious to see just where this goes.
Oh, Lauren, let me tell you what we're doing today, okay? I don't know if you know this, Lauren, but the entire Anglosphere is falling apart. You hear about that?
No, and I think that I should have been consulted.
All of Western civilization right now, Lauren, outside of the United States, is collapsing. The United Kingdom has instituted, and you know the rest of the Euros are going to do this too, full-blown total censorship under the guise of it's for the kids. It's not for the kids, folks. It is not for the kids. So, Lauren, we're going to talk about that. You ready for that?
I am ready for that.
Guys, girls, we're going to talk about the fact that I have never heard so many millionaires, whining, get out the wambulance, because Elon Musk has more money than they do, and they want to confiscate his money, Lauren. They want to take his money away. You heard about this?
Yeah, I will admit that I wouldn't mind if Elon had a rounding error of some kind in my favor, but I'm not going to demand it.
I get that, Lauren. I understand. Lauren, that's not all. What if I told you, Lauren, that the Mandalorian and Grogu is getting ripped off of screens as we speak, and it's basically toast, and you were right and I was wrong. It's going to struggle to get to the number I thought it could. Make you feel good, Lauren? You like being right?
I was pretty sure that was going to be the case. It did, I think, cross over the number that I thought it was going to hit, so I was still wrong too. But it didn't make it much beyond what I thought it was going to, so I feel like I was pretty close. We have so much to say. Oh, I forgot. Lauren, the Hollywood celebrities hate America. Before the 250th anniversary of America, the 250th, the semi-quincentennial, as they call it, Lauren. The celebrities are out and they hate America. I'm shocked that their patriotic principles were left at the door. How could this have happened?
How could it be? So, folks, here's what I need you to understand. Go ahead and tell your significant other, honey, you know I love you. Sweetie pie, pumpkin dear, I'm going to come to bed at some point. But the pro show's on. And we're going late tonight because we got to. We got to, folks. This is a big one. And Lauren, is it okay if I bring in a guest right now? Somebody that we haven't had in forever?
I fully support this.
All right, let's switch over to here. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in more than a year, please welcome the most verbose, articulate, and shall I say, one of the highest risers right now with big news coming soon from an Echo-based network near you. It's Nick, ladies and gentlemen.
Might help if I unmute my microphone. Hey, how's everybody doing? Glad to be here. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on the pro show, but I'm happy to be here. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like I told Pro and them earlier, I am on call. So if I get a work page, I might have to go off screen for a minute to handle work.
If he dives, folks, it's going to be the dive when he just takes off. You'll know, okay? Dive and roll. Exactly. Folks, it's been a minute, but he's going to win it. And here's the deal. Nick, you in the backstage, you were telling us that your channel, you and Coach, have humongous news. And I mean, listen, folks, when we say that Echo-based Network has had some huge stories over the years, I mean, you guys have been talked about by some of the biggest celebrities out there. Not the nicest necessarily, but the biggest celebrities out there.
Yeah.
And you're telling me this is going to be even bigger, what you guys have.
We got something coming soon. Like maybe even tomorrow.
Whoa!
So me and Coach have been working literally all day on this project, and it's going to be big. So
it's going to be big. All right.
So yeah, stay tuned. This could blow up big time.
We're ready, and it's going to be like that chemistry project in high school, Nick, and we hope you keep all your fingers this time. All right. Well, folks, we've got about, we've passed it now. 500 of you join us before we even get started with the news, and we're going to bring it to you. So for the drive-by journalists out there, okay, I just want you to know, just because Pro is not physically in the normal studio doesn't mean that you get to go to bed early, folks. If you're a drive-by journalist, get your jumbo pencils ready. Tonight is going to be more than, just about ever before. Get ready, get set, and let's get going. Lauren, we got to have you read the super chats tonight to help me out. Sir, can you put them on the screen, and let's see what the superstars have to say.
First up, we have Mark Fields for $1.99 saying, remember, wherever you go, bring the positive vibes.
Wherever you go, whatever you do. Mark Fields is saying, be good, ladies and gentlemen, and he'll be good too. Mark, good to see you out there, and I hope things are going a little bit better with the job. I know the tediousness can get to us sometimes, but I'm really glad that you're listening in tonight.
Next up, we've got Juliet with 2 British pounds sterling saying, morning, WDW Pro Panel and Pro Rights.
And good morning to you, Juliet, moderator extraordinaire.
And we have Echoes of the Ancients becoming a new YouTube member.
Welcome aboard. Happy to have you, Echoes of the Ancients. And, I think you're going to get along with the rest of the folks here just fine.
Yeah.
And finally, we've got Patrick Ganaway gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships.
Patrick Ganaway, we appreciate that so much. We have not had time yet to do the changes you asked for, but I tell you what, we'll play the clip. I'm going to click the button. Things are going to happen. Probably it's going to show it's the Lauren and Apollo show, even though it's not. Boy, do I ever know StreamYard or do I know StreamYard, folks? You know what? We need a wizard before we do this. Wiz, get in here. You know StreamYard too, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Wiz is like, man, I just popped in the back room and boom, here I am. There was no...
I'm here.
He was just... Don't eat the cashews, Wiz. You're just on stage, man. That's all right.
And with the Cobra Kai shirt on.
I'm telling
That's right.
you.
Yeah.
Looking sharp. Kind of like Patrick Ganaway.
Chemical sunshine. Professor says pay no mind.
Now, Wiz, did you rush in here because you heard the list of things we're going to cover tonight and you said, I can't miss out on that? Is that why you're here?
That's exactly it. Yeah, I was tuning in and I was like, I heard all the topics. And then what was really good was I heard that Nick had some news and I was like, I don't want to miss this. Because this guy is probably going to be really good.
Wiz, can you see if you can get it out of him? Find out what it is. Listen, they have been, they've had Mark Hamill, talking about them and with The Last Jedi. And he says it's going to be bigger than anything they've ever had before. Here, hang on a second, Wiz, get over here. Okay. I'll switch back, but
give me the crowbar. I'm going to pull it out of him. Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, this could drop as early as tomorrow around 11 a.m. Me and Coach are going to be working on trying to get it to drop, but yeah, it's big. It's big.
All right. Working on getting something to drop. Wiz, come on back in. Working on getting something to drop that's big, folks. Some people have been there before. We understand. It's going to happen for Echo Base Network, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Get ready. All right, Lauren, do we have any more super chats before we get to this news?
We do not. That was the last of them.
All right, ladies and gents, listen up. We've got a super chat goal tonight, and I know we can win it with your help. The dream to stream comes true because of you. Yes, it's a big goal. It's fitty, okay? And Lauren's going to keep track of it for us. But Lauren says, wait, what is my job? What? As the mom on South Park sometimes says. Folks, we're going to try to get what? We're going to try to get to 50 tonight. And if we do, it's an Ask Me Anything. We'll try to answer any questions you have. We'll take a little bit of extra time to do that. All right. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to wait because there's so much. And we're going to bust down the gates of Hollyweird and do it right now. Let's start off, gentlemen, with Mando and Grogu. It's about to be ripped from the screens, and it's breaking records, every bad one you could imagine for Star Wars. We'll talk about it right now. It's not a great day to be Star Wars. It's not a great time to be at Lucasfilm. But folks, it's a great day for us to cover the news. What's that, Nick?
I said, is it ever, though?
Not in years and years and years, Nick. All right, that Park Place says this. Marvin Montanaro, The Mandalorian and Grogu will likely become the biggest box office flop in Star Wars franchise history. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump to spoilers. This is before we adjust for inflation. Disney and Lucasfilms, The Mandalorian and Grogu continued its downward spiral at the box office this weekend, and the latest numbers suggest the film is now heading towards a major record for the franchise. After another rough weekend, the film managed just $4.7 million domestically, a 52.8% drop from the previous frame. Its domestic total now stands at roughly 165. It's not going to get 200 now. I mean, unless Disney wants to just leave it in there to limp along until September. This thing's done. 200's gone. It says, while worldwide earnings have reached only 315. Just as concerning for Lucasfilm is the speed at which theaters are dropping from the film. And this is, folks, this is what you got to know, okay? This is the big one. After losing 945 locations the previous week, The Mandalorian and Grogu was removed from another 675 theaters this past weekend. Toy Story's coming. And this is basically over now. In the span of 2 weeks, the movie has lost more than 1,600 screens across North America. But Nick, you cover Star Wars. Your entire channel is devoted to this.
Yeah.
Nick, this thing's getting kicked out of the theaters this next weekend with Toy Story. And so when we see that it's made it to 315 on the global, the worldwide box office tally, it's going to be very difficult to move that anywhere north because all the screens are gone now. So what do you think, Nick? What's your prediction for where Mando goes now?
In the trash where it belongs. I mean, this was probably one of the dumbest moves on Lucasfilm's part. You haven't released a movie. The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019, I believe. And you haven't released a movie in theaters since then. And then this is your first Star Wars movie back in theaters after the disastrous season 3 of Mando. I just wish I could be a fly on the wall in the room on the decision making going on over there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This is what you guys planned on doing, and this is what the story that you came up with. I mean, I went and saw it, and at the end of the day, like, I didn't hate it. I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. But literally, I'm never gonna watch it again. You can
that's good.
skip it.
Lauren, you have defended it a little bit more than most. Are you going to ever watch it again, or are you done with it?
I will, but I'm a Mandalorian fan. I did not like season 3. Season 3 left me pretty down in the mouth, but this movie did what I needed it to do to put him back in the center as a bounty hunter. I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but I've said before, I think their mistake was releasing it theatrically. It should have been either a TV special on Disney Plus, or they should have just done season 4, which I think would have been the smartest thing that they could have done.
I agree.
All right, let's look at how this works, folks. We're going to get into the weeds of Hollywood for just a minute. I'm going to show you what's going on. Out of the numbers, Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu currently sits at 315 on the worldwide box office, as we told you. Now, I have said before that I think it's going to 330. Lauren, you actually thought it was going to end up at 315, 320, so it's probably going to pass that a little bit.
311 was the top end that I said, and so it has crossed that. I am surprised that it did, but I think they're going to let it run another week, and then I think they're going to pull it. I think they're only going to let it run a month.
I think you might be right, and here's why. All right, so essentially, folks, I mean, it had a liftoff, but if we look at these numbers, and I think I've got the screen showing, I do, okay. If we look at this for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days, this movie has flatlined. I mean, we're seeing just incremental growth. And here's what you need to see, the theaters, okay? So if we go to per theater, we're looking at the theater numbers, okay? So this film sat at 4,300 theaters for about 2 weeks. And the reason is probably contractual. So Disney had a deal with AMC and Regal and all the rest that they were forced to keep this thing on. As soon as they could drop it, they all dropped it to 3,355 theaters. And then as soon as they could drop that, now they're down to 2,680. Now, it's no longer in Disney's interest to have this in the theaters because every theater that The Mandalorian and Grogu is in going into the, what is it going to be, the 4th weekend? Every screen that it's on in the 4th weekend is a screen that Toy Story could have. And so it's not in the favor of the distributor Disney. It's not in the favor of the theaters. I mean, the theaters sitting and look at, if you're making $268 per theater, I mean, you're not paying for the wear and tear on the bulb on the projector. So they're happy to kick this thing out. Disney now is going to say, yeah, there's really no reason to leave it in there. I think it's actually embarrassing. And so I think this is going to have 1,000 theaters left, 800 theaters. And like a whimper, man, it's gone. It's out of there. Wiz, it's a bad sign for Mando, but this is the end. It doesn't get a fourth weekend with any kind of significant release. The fourth weekend is going to be extremely muted. And anybody who thinks, well, we can get to 400, I think they're deeply mistaken at this point.
Oh no, I'm shocked to see it went past the 310 mark that Lauren had originally predicted. I was with him. I really thought it was going to have trouble getting to the 310. This is done. Put it to bed. It's Toy Story time. The reviews for Toy Story, the early reviews are that, Pixar's back. We're back to form, return to form, which means that Mando needs to go away and get those theaters open and get all of those showtimes back for Toy Story 5. And you know what? We talk about it because it's worth talking about. When it comes to Mandalorian and Grogu, it's worth it for us to talk about because it's an accountability thing. We're holding Star Wars accountable, we're holding Lucasfilm accountable, Disney accountable. So it's important to us. But you know who it's not important for? Everyone else. And especially the normies. Like, everyone's over this, but they're not only just this or this issue. Star Wars. They're done with Star Wars. Star Wars is so over, it's never coming back. There's something that Nick said earlier, like I just want to continue off of. The idea of you never watching this again. It's like, hey, it's another Star Wars movie you'll never watch again. How many of these can they keep making? They can't. They can't afford to do it. The only one that was even remotely worth watching again was Rogue One. Like, on its own. Like, Rogue One was worth watching on its own. And then the Andor series did this really good setup and continuation into Rogue One that you felt compelled to watch Rogue One again. But otherwise, no, I don't think that Mando is in any place. I think it's done. It's cooked. It's a cooked goose. Get it out of the oven. It's time to go.
So I'm not done with the goose. But Lauren, I see you want to weigh in. Hop in, and then I want to show a stat that I think is shocking.
I just want to say that despite my predictions, I do have it on good authority that $2 billion is absolutely in play.
All right. Here's
the finger guns in there, Lauren.
Yeah, 2 billion pesos, maybe.
Here's the goose, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so this movie opened, you all know, it was a terrible opening. 81 million, and they came in later and they tried to spin the narrative because they were hoping they could save the second weekend. So they said, it opened bigger than expected. Sure it did. Okay, so we talked about Star Wars films get a 2.5 to 2.75 leg out. Now, with a terrible opening, the leg out should be bigger because you don't have to earn that much for it to have, greater legs on the movie. The legs on this, remember, 2.5 to 2.75. The legs on this currently are 2.02. This may get to 2.15, 2.2, which is awful. So from an awful weekend, this film, it's taken it 3 weeks to match the first 3 days. Let me say it again, for those who don't understand the flat line we're talking about. 3 weeks to match the first 3 days of the box office. Everybody that cared went to go see it, and then all of the oxygen fell out of this film. And that is why I think it's worse than the box office is the fact that it was over. It was over after the first weekend. It was over. And that means the core fans, whatever the Disney Star Wars group, the Raylos, there are not many of them, clearly. But once they're gone, it's gone. There's no more. Yeah. That's the stat to see. And it's a sad state for Star Wars. Guys, any other thoughts on the Mandalorian and Grogu and specifically on the defense that we're starting to hear a few make, but I don't know. I think Disney's going to tell them. I think somebody at Disney's going to say, "Shut up! It's a failure. Shut up, you! Shut up, you! We're going to take this one."
I actually don't. I don't know. I might challenge that just a little bit because Disney likes when they have the defenders out there defending this thing. The diehards that they're never going to let it die. But even they have been like kind of caught deer in the headlights on this one of like, oh my gosh, it's collapsing. What do we do? What are we supposed to say? What do we do? And then how they've been pivoting the conversation, whether it be the shills or the journalists or whoever it is, people, maybe it's just diehard Star Wars fans, all 12 of you. God bless you out there.
Yeah.
But they're pivoting this in whatever way that they possibly can of, oh, well, it was never about making money in the movies. It's about the marketing. It's about the toys. No, money in, money out. This was money into it, invested into the movie. It was meant to be a box office return. And, even what you're showing here, is this because of Mandalorian? Are people going and filling the parks because of Mandalorian and Grogu? I don't think so.
Hold on. Let me tell you about that, Wiz, before we go. So with Marvin, I went to Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World. And in the last few days, it was a walk-on for the Millennium Falcon. It was a walk-on. At like 5 o'clock. Marvin went to Oga's Cantina, which is supposed to be this, it's a bar and you're supposed to pay a lot of money to get the drinks and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's expensive.
Yeah. Marvin walks up to the guy and says, hey, are you guys is it reservation only? Or are you guys taking walk-ups? And the guy was like, oh, we're taking walk-ups. Like, please come in.
Really?
We will pay. Oh, Wiz. Yes.
Wow.
And it wasn't just that it was walk-ups. It was, you put your name in and they said, all right, come on in. Like, no wait, just come on in. We're ready to go. Yeah.
I remember when getting a reservation into Oga's was like Oga's Cantina was like a sacred thing. It was hard to do. Now you can just walk in.
Wow. And that's why this is a franchise. There are some franchises that Disney can just let die, right? John Carter, who cares? Zorro, who cares? This is not a franchise they can let die because it sits on some of the most premium real estate they have in Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I don't think they can let it die. I think they have to do something. I just don't know that they know what to do, but I got a feeling the C-suite's going to say, Filoni, you fix it or you're fired. We don't care how you do it. Just, you gotta get butts in seats. You got to get, butts in front of screens, and you got to get people excited to go to the parks because if not, man, what a huge waste for them. It's actually impacting their park operations at this point.
Yeah. My prediction is Filoni won't be there in 4 years because he's going to continue the KK reign. I have zero faith in Dave Filoni to fix anything with Star Wars. Zero. And it's going to come to a point where they're like, nothing's changing. You're not doing anything to help this situation. And he's going to be out of there. Like, I don't know anything about running movie studios or anything like that. I could go in there and do a better job than Filoni's going to do. And I don't know anything about running any of that. But I mean, they would literally need to day one, decanonize everything, come out and admit your failures, own it, say, look, we screwed this up. We screwed the pooch on this. And we're decanonizing it. And this is never going to happen, ever. But if they did do that, maybe there might be some people that would give it another chance. But keep going down this road. We got Starfighter coming out next year, which is just continuing the sequel trilogy, timeline events. Like, it's going to bomb also. I don't see that movie making anything. Star Wars is in a disastrous place, absolutely disastrous.
At this point, I think I'd throw Rian Johnson at least under the bus if I'm Disney. I would put something out.
Throw everybody under the bus for all I care. Just
but throw Pedro under. I know you got to wait till the Avengers movie's done, but throw him under the bus. Like it's time. Let the skeletons lie, man, and get away from this. I'll give you one last example. So we're at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, right? And of course, you got the giant docking bay, and somebody says, "What is that? What was that?" And I said, "Well, that's where a box truck used to come to deliver you from the Galactic Star Cruiser." And as we're passing that, there's the blue milk stand on the right, and they've added now pink milk because, well, that's folks. Go look that up. Just know they named it pink milk at Star Wars Land, and it's disgusting. But they've got blue, and I guess they retired the green milk, which tasted like watered down Fruity Pebbles. Okay, so when you go to Harry Potter World at Epic Universe or Islands of Adventure or wherever. When you go to Harry Potter World, you're right. There's butterbeer stands everywhere. You can't make enough butterbeer. People are laying down on the pavement saying, just just take it from the spigot and put it in my mouth. You got people paying whatever they can to get a hold of this stuff. 4, 5, 6 different varieties of butterbeer. We walked by the blue milk stand at Star Wars. All this money, millions of dollars put into developing blue milk and the blue milk kiosk. Not a single person in line to get the blue milk. I see one person who's had it and is drinking it to the side. And I thought, yeah, you're going to regret that. And I feel like it's an allegory for all of Star Wars at this point. You know, yeah, you're going to regret that. You're going to regret it. All right, folks, that's where we'll leave it for now. But Mando is going to be, even adjusted for inflation, even not adjusted for inflation, the worst performing Star Wars movie ever. And it's going to get ripped out of screens this weekend. It's over. It's over. It may limp. It may dribble. It may just barely make little ripples. But the box office numbers for Mando are now basically done. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 1,000 of you joining us right now as we go through the news, and boy, do we have a show. Get ready. We're not even close to done, and we got so much to talk about. And frankly, I'm just going to be honest, it's way bigger than Star Wars. That is the smallest story we've got tonight. And so we're going to need one more friend to join us and help us through all of this. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, unless people are sleeping nearby, for the one, the only Mr. Andy Masterson is here.
Hey.
It's Andy. What's up, Andy?
I'll be right back, guys. I got somebody at my front door.
Dive, Nick, dive. Andy, you were muted that time. What were you sharing with us, please?
I'm sculpting little hamsters.
Hold on a second.
Hey!
Andy, that's a hamster.
It will be.
It will. Hey, hold it back up again one more time, Andy. Breaking news, Andy Masterson is sculpting tiny hamsters in his secret base, a bunker underground.
Which will glow in the dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got more. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Masterson is sculpting tiny hamsters in a bunker in an undisclosed location, and yes, they'll glow in the dark. All right, folks. That's why 1,000 of you joining us right now. And we want to say a big thank you to everybody out there. The channel continues to grow and grow and grow. And boy, viewership is just rising and taking off. It makes the drive-by so happy. They love it every time they tune in and say, boy, Pro's back. They're doing great over there. They love that. They love that. They really, pat yourselves on the back for doing that. All right, folks, we want to get to it. We forgot to do the simultaneous sip, or is it because we were waiting for all of our pals to be together? Folks, it's time to click it and sip it. Grab your beverage of choice. Wiz, what you drinking tonight?
Dr. Pepper, zero sugar.
Okay, that's respectable. Respectable. Yeah. Andy, what are you drinking?
I have no drink.
Andy, pretend, please. What would be in the cup, Andy? Oh my, that's an epoxy.
It's rubbing alcohol. So
okay, well that's going to be a little strong, Andy. That's going to be a little strong. That's about 100 proof. All right, folks. Here we go. And hey, Wiz, you see what I got?
Oh, look at that. Oh, fancy.
Matcha man. Yeah. Not the good matcha though, right?
Oh, we got some better matcha now.
You just jumped the gun, buddy. What are you doing? We didn't even tell the people. Folks, smash the like button because Wiz skipped the line here. And then once you've clicked like, let's sip together in 3, 2, 1. Wiz was thirsty.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Pretty good, Wiz?
Oh, very. Dr. Pepper. Right. Can't beat it.
Good. Dr. Pepper. All right, folks, let's get to the super chats. Lauren, can you put them on the screen, sir? Oh, my gosh. The number of super chats is crazy. Lauren, let's take 10 because we got a big show. Folks, we'll never leave one behind, but 10, Lauren. Let's do 10.
Patrick Ganaway for 5 saying, this should have stayed in the streaming domain.
Yep, that's what the proctologist also says.
GRB Chaser for 5 saying, you have to remember that the last film Dave Filoni did was the animated Clone Wars movie. Remember how well that one did?
I don't think it was well
literally
received.
The same.
Yeah.
Patrick Ganaway for another 5. If Star Wars dies, then Lucasfilm can't be far behind. Star Wars is Lucasfilm's only really successful property.
Well, they killed Indy, so yeah. I don't know. They've got Day of the Tentacle. It's a video game from the early 90s. Lord, what are you laughing about? I'm trying to come up with things they haven't destroyed yet.
Yeah, good luck. Satire station for 10. Spaceballs 2 makes more globally than Mando and Grogu and Starfighter. 100-year-old Mel Brooks and fans defecting has massive potential if it's good. They both release a month apart in 2027. Get ready.
Okay, so this is amazing, and we need to start talking about it. I agree. I think now it's pretty much a given that Spaceballs 2 is going to make more than Mando and Grogu.
I don't know about that.
So we've come to a point now where Spaceballs is a bigger franchise than Star Wars at the box office. That's how far
I
it's
don't
fallen.
know about that. It might not. There's a chance Spaceballs 2 might not hit. Yeah.
Wiz,
I think
it's
possible.
break 300, Wiz. Come on. I mean,
but what if it's a pile of garbage?
Even piles of garbage have made 300 million at the box office before. We'll help it get there. We'll start a drive.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll buy billboards in Hollywood. Please help Spaceballs 2 beat Mando. I wanted to buy a billboard for Gina, and then things went a little bit a different direction. So, we still got to get a billboard. Maybe that's when we do it. Maybe that's when we pull the trigger. Get a Spaceballs 2 billboard directly outside of Lucasfilm. Right over there by the bay.
Pastor Muppets, member for 22 months. They should re-release the original screenings of each of the original trilogy on their 50th anniversaries. Next year, the 50th of Star Wars. 2030, Episode 5. 2033, Episode 6.
I think they're in a bigger hurry than that. I mean, I guess they can do it that way, but I think they need to get these out rapid fire, like 1 year and then the next year and then the next year. I know that that's the logical way to do it, but I don't think they're in the position where they can release, in a staggered way. They gotta get moving. They don't have anything that people want to see, so they have to go back to the originals.
Boot Demon for $2. Are we going to get real fake Wizard the White?
Only after he takes back his ancestral hibachi grill.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Look out, Benihana's.
We got Jim Butler for $5 saying, have the guys who said that Mandalorian and Grogu was going to make $1 billion said anything recently?
We ought to get Lauren to
check for them.
Yeah, we need to get Lauren to research that. How's that going, Lauren?
I have not looked to see if they've put anything up recently, but I would imagine they're probably not talking about Mando and Grogu that much.
The chances that they watch the show and that they dread that we might say something about that, pretty high. Pretty high, I would say.
Abigor, member for 12 months. Mando and Grogu #1 on Disney Plus. A low-numbered lie.
Yeah, what I have enjoyed, Disney does this thing where they curate their top 10. It's not real. It's just whatever Disney says is the top 10 is the top 10. It's not based on stats. If it was, Bluey would be #1 every single week. So Disney doesn't do that. Well, Disney, ahead of Mando, said that The Acolyte, was like #6 or whatever. And again, unlike Netflix and these other services, Disney will readily, admit it's not real. It's just they pick a random top 10, whatever satisfies them. And these news outlets are still running the Acolyte stuff. So folks, if you're wondering why is Pro doing Acolyte videos, why are we back to that? Because these freaking Access journalists are still pretending that the Acolyte somehow jumped to #6 on Disney Plus streaming charts. And no, it didn't. They just ran a bunch of Star Wars crap before the Mando movie came out. Hold on a second. Drive-bys. Do you really believe drive-bys listen to me? I want to save your credibility. Do you really believe that after what we just saw with Mando, that the Acolyte was trending again on any streaming platform? Read the next one, Lauren. Just leave it there. Let them think on it.
Archer Merchant for $2. $50 kids tickets in Anaheim aren't selling either.
Nope. And I was telling somebody today that, Disney, the level of desperation, Disney World now, you can go to Disney World this summer for $65 per day, which is like, what, half of Dollywood, right? We're down below Six Flags numbers because all you got to do is get the 4-day summer pass Add the water park option. It's 8 days, $65 per day.
Gilliam II for 5. You're right, Pro. It is a franchise they can't let die. Too bad they already did let it die, and they just refuse to accept what the instruments read.
Well, you can always put a new engine in a broken down car, and that's what they're going to have to do. I don't know if they've accepted that yet. I surmise they have. I think that's why they met with Filoni at Lucasfilm. Lauren, we've covered that story now ad nauseum. I'm not. It's not that I believe they can fix it. It's that I believe they're willing to fire anybody and everybody they have to try to fix it. This is going to be like Lincoln firing the generals until he finds somebody who works. They're going to do whatever it takes, clean the house, and they'll burn it down if they have to.
That was 10, but I'm going to do an additional one because I don't want to leave it hanging. Snark gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Fudge Door is back. Andy will bring you right back. 3, 2, 1. Andy's back in town. No, wait. StreamYard, don't mess with Andy. We love Andy. All right. Snarky is out there with the Fudge Door. Snarky, thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not on the Tickety Talks. We're not on the Instagrammies. We're not on the GeoCities. And yet still, we have more than 1,000 of you joining us right now. And it's time to talk about really big news. We just did Star Wars, and it's a little bit silly. And we're putting it to bed, right? Mando. Geez, Louise, if we have to cover Mando anymore. Lauren, are we done, you think, or are they going to pull us back in with something?
Oh, I'm sure we'll come back eventually. It's not something we can stay away from for very long.
I mean, they sucked us back into Ahsoka and the Acolyte. We didn't want to do that, but okay. Folks, it's still a little silly. But now it's time for something very, very serious. And you've been waiting to hear what we have to say, what Wiz and Andy and Nick and Lauren, mostly Wiz and Andy, but us too, what they have to say about the situation with the UK. Because when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to communications, frankly, when it comes to society, this is a huge, huge deal. And it's not going to stop at the UK. That's not what they have planned at all. They want to send this far and wide, and we got to stop it. And if you're out there watching from the UK, we know you can't say what you believe anymore because you live in a place that has been essentially conquered now. And we're going to talk about what this means, especially from the aisle that started the whole idea of free speech and significant rights. Folks, it's a big deal. Let's go there now. United Kingdom is now a censorship state. A dark shadow has been cast over the UK. The United Kingdom has become a censorship state. And we know that many of our viewers out there who live in the UK are in fear of saying what they would like to say. And we'll explain why right now and what the effect is on entertainment. Elon Musk is now declaring that the United Kingdom is a police state. Considering he's the world's first trillionaire, we're going to listen. Polymarket, the thing that he's responding to, says, just in, the UK government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media. Woohoo! You guys still get to use social media. Go you. Your government's going to allow it. How does it feel to live in a place where the nannies say, you can still use it for now? You'll still be able to use social media by verifying, though, your identities with digital IDs, facial recognition, passports, and credit cards. Here's what else we've got. Inevitable West says, the Australia ban on social media for people under 16, well, it just so happens to exempt Blue Sky. And guess what? The UK ban on social media for those under 16 also exempts Blue Sky. According to Inevitable West, they say the establishment wants to control the rapid shift to the right while promoting a far-left platform as its replacement. Fortunately, no one is interested. I'm going to disagree here. I think that people are going to be interested. I also find it interesting that these countries, that speak English and have significantly shared culture with the United States, but have went to absolute draconian anti-free speech situations, they don't have social media companies that they've made anymore because they've squelched that. They've destroyed their markets. They've made themselves irrelevant through this kind of nonsense. So their only option now is to try to force their kids to get on Blue Sky, where they believe their values will be promoted and moderated on Blue Sky. But it's still a U.S. company because, again, they've destroyed their ability to make anything, flat out, period. How draconian is it? Well, Politics UK says new. The UK's social media ban for the under 16 crowd is set to be enforced at the device level. It's on your device, folks, with Apple and Google forced to verify the age of all users. Quote, age checks would happen at the point that a user sets up their new phone rather than when they create an account with a social media company. Government officials prefer it as it removes the need to repeat checks. Well, yes, of course, because they want your identity attached to your device, attached to your accounts. You see, folks, this is not about the kids. I know they're saying it is, but it's not. This is a very unhidden Trojan horse that everybody knows what it is. This is them finding a way. The kids are just, what is the cause we can grab onto? This is them making sure in a country that will arrest you for what you say on social media. If you dare to be a dissident, they will put you in the wagon and take you behind bars. This is them setting up the system now where they can find you. They know who you are. You can't have any anonymity online. You can't say what you really believe. And gosh darn it, we're going to shut down Amelia because that didn't work either. So you repost Amelia with the purple hair saying the things that the UK government doesn't care to hear. Well, they're going to come get you now because you can't hide it. There's no way to hide it any longer. Peter Diamanda says, is Europe quietly legislating itself out of relevance? And I have to say, I 100% think they are. We're going to try to play in a minute. I think they're going to ding us for this, but it's so worth it. We just have to. We're going to play in a minute the BBC, and they went and interviewed these kids. But here's the deal. The reason we know, Wiz, that this is all, this is a fake Trojan horse intended to absolutely shut down any political disagreement. This is draconian, it's authoritarian, and the UK has fallen if this goes through, and it will. The reason we know all that, Wiz, is because the Blue Sky exemption. They are picking and choosing which services. This is not a social media ban. This is every social media platform that they don't have complete control of. And because Zuckerberg, is not always totally 1,000% against Trump, Facebook is banned. Because X is owned by the trillionaire Rocket Man, it's banned. But Blue Sky, they think they got total control over it. So kids can get on Blue Sky. Your 5-year-old can get on Blue Sky, Wiz, in the UK. And that means this is all complete and total control. That's what this is. And they're basically laughing at the population, Wiz, when they say it's for the kids. They just do it with a smile, right? It's for the kids.
It's always been like that. It's for the kids. It has almost never been, not always, but almost never been actually to protect kids. It's always
Wiz, we need you to give your kids over to the government. It's for the kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's for the kids. Let the government raise your children because you're inept and incapable of doing it yourself. No, I want to start off by saying that this is something that's happening in the UK. And so for maybe all of our viewers out there, everybody that's watching that's not in the UK, you might be thinking, well, I don't care about that. That's not here. That's the UK. The UK, they get all that. That's what they have all that trouble over there. No. Right. The UK is just a prelude of what is coming to the United States, especially when we're talking about technology, especially when we're talking about social media, and it's moving fast. Okay. See, the UK put in some protocol where there needed to be identity, ID verification, biometric verification. Well, that impacted PlayStation. Okay, well, now all of a sudden Sony is going to be requiring, or they're setting up parameters for the world to require biometrics. Discord, a social media app, earlier this year had to move forward with collecting biometrics. Why? Oh, well, the UK requires it, so they're just rolling it out everywhere. Okay, well, now it's social media, but Blue Sky is exempt. It's anywhere and everywhere that the government could deem that there is a threat to that government keeping their regime in power. That is what they're after. That is what it's always been about.
If they want kids off of social media, the parents can tell the kids to get off social media. If they wanted the kids off social media, they would ban all of social media, not the platforms they dislike. So here's a theory panel. Let me toss it to you and see what everybody thinks. Anybody weigh in? I don't want to, I don't want to stifle this by saying you go. No. Anybody? Let's do a free form conversation. But my thesis on this, my theory is that the UK government and all of Europe really, they know that they have lost the economic engine. I mean, it basically now it's the United States and China. Europe, the EU has fallen, and I know the UK has a strange relationship there, but the UK is also. I mean, it has been shocking, I think, to people in the UK. This has been trending lately. They have been shocked to find out that in terms of their wealth, if they were a state in the United States, they would be behind Mississippi. And we love our Mississippians, but they would be in the 51st state in terms of wealth, and that's been shocking to them. I think their leaders understand that. And I think that because Europe, and Germany led the way in deindustrializing themselves, I think that Europe knows they cannot catch up ever again, at least not for the foreseeable future economically. And they know there's going to be a lot of trouble and a lot of strife. And so this is the leaders of these governments who have betrayed their people, who have given away their economies. I mean, Europe used to be, just one of the greatest powers on earth 100 years ago. That's gone. And I think this is not only authoritarian, but it's an effort to squelch any political resistance to the fact that they destroyed their nations. And they did. They destroyed their nations. These are, they're kind of laughable even, right? I mean, to go from being one of the biggest, most important countries, most powerful navy in the history of the earth, to you have nothing. You would be lower than Mississippi. You're poorer than West Virginia. And we love those states. And we love the people who view from those states. We're not trying to be mean. But I think people are getting angry. And I think this is the result. This is the action to try to stop the anger in the UK, is to say, you're not allowed to be angry with us. You can't say you're angry. We're going to know who you are now. That's what they're doing. Panel?
The thing is, that takes away a pressure relief valve.
Oh, yeah.
When people are angry, it helps to vent, because then at least you complain, you get some of it out, you allow people to listen to your complaints and respond. If you try and stifle that, now it becomes a pressure cooker. All you do is let that anger grow, and that eventually the boiler can only handle so much pressure. And when it exceeds that capacity, it will blow, and you don't want to be anywhere in the vicinity when that happens.
How much of this do you guys think is also because of the efficiency, the efficacy of Amelia? Because the UK government tried to create this propaganda thing with this girl with purple hair who would basically, parrot exactly what the government wanted. And people took that with the AI and they ran with it, and they made Amelia say all these things that are sort of traditional, conservative, what Brits believe. And it embarrassed the leaders. And I think they're saying now, go ahead, make Amelia. We're going to know who you are. We're going to come get you.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, I think that's going to play a big part, especially with AI today. Me and Coach are actually doing, or really pretty much me, I'm doing some content of a video on the dangers, the negatives and the positives of AI in today's society. And it's a project I've been working on for a couple weeks. But looking into this, I looked into this like day before yesterday, I believe. And one of the social media applications I didn't see on there was Rumble. So I don't know, because Rumble's, it's pretty much normally like considered the free speech platform. So I don't know if they're just going to ban Rumble outright over there. But
if they haven't already.
Yeah, but kids nowadays with technology, I mean, they're going to be using VPNs to connect to other countries where they can still do this stuff. They're going to find workarounds to this. I just don't see how they're going to be able to regulate this and enforce this at all in the UK. I mean, they might be able to, but I mean, there's so many different ways to get around this thing. But the UK is a shell of its former self. I don't know if you guys have seen videos on the state of their military currently, especially their Navy. It's
ridiculous. It's so
decimated.
Silly.
I mean, it's
they have admirals who have never been at sea.
Yeah,
I watched. Did you see that same thing, Nick?
Yep.
They have admirals.
You probably saw the same video I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't have any control over any boat whatsoever.
And we got a lot of friends over there. Mr. H is over there, and he talks about this on his political channel a lot. And Keir Starmer, I mean that dude's done, man. Like they need to get him out of there so fast.
This is consolidation of power. This is what this is. And by the way, folks, for anybody out there in the UK wondering, what comes next, and the people in the United States, we got some people who don't understand the power of free speech and why it exists and why it sets our economy apart and our society apart. The deal is, if you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have the antiseptic to bad ideas.
Yeah.
Now, if 90% of the speech out there is meaningless to the direction of society, and some of it's annoying and it's a nuisance, got it. Totally agree. Right. Go play Call of Duty with the microphone on, and you'll hear all kinds of teenagers screaming at you, and you'll walk away and say, well, maybe that free speech thing is not worth it, but it is.
Yeah.
Because 1% of the time somebody says something that gives you an epiphany, or it resets society because people say, well, hold on a second, that's a great idea and we need to consider it. And sometimes great ideas, in fact, all the time, great ideas are offensive to the people who don't want to make a change. The problem with stripping away free speech is you have no counter to bad ideas any longer. It is dystopian what they're doing. Panel, I'm going to bring everybody in, continue to weigh in. I want to try to play this. We're going to get dinged. We just have to play it. This is the BBC, and that's why we're going to get dinged. But we have to play this. There's no way around this. So hopefully we stay up. But here's the BBC. I think they believed interviewing these kids, they were going to get a different answer. Here's the response, because I think the kids understand. I think these kids have lived through the pandemic. These kids, they're like the citizens of South Park at this point. They're like, what crazy, bat-cuss crazy stuff are the adults going to put us through this next time? Here's the kids' response.
Please put your hands up, those of you who welcome the ban. Hands up for those who welcome the ban. So this just gives you an idea. I think it's pretty fair to say that most of these students there, 11 to 14, most are pretty disappointed with the ban. Let's just come over to you, Isabella. Tell me how you felt when you heard the Prime Minister say no more social media for you.
I didn't think it would actually happen. I kind of believed that he'd chicken out of it and give it more time or more consideration, but he seems pretty sure of it, and I'm not sure if I agree with him.
What are you most worried about?
Not being able to contact my friends. I don't know what will happen and how it will happen, or whether if there's some technicalities to what apps are restricted, but I use most of my social media to contact my parents and family.
I mean, I think it's worth reminding people. Earlier, we looked at screen time. What was your screen time over the weekend?
9 hours.
9 hours. So suddenly you're going to have a lot more time to fill. And what will you do?
Stare at a wall.
So here's the thing. I don't want kids spending 9 hours on social media on weekends. Okay?
Get outside and play.
Get outside and play. But I am a fervent believer that that's the parent's job to do.
100%.
It must be. And when the state comes in, and for a completely ulterior motive, when the state comes in, Andy, and they regulate the parent's role, I don't think it ever goes well. I don't think we don't want parents to go past that line with their kids where we all know that the household has a pathology, right? We don't want that to happen, but parents need to be parents.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in there. I think that they're underestimating their ability to control. Like Nick brought up some great points there with, you will find a workaround. Technology, the nature of technology evolves, and it evolves so quickly and non-linear that there's going to be a solution to this. I mean, what are they going to do when Elon Musk really gets Starlink working how it should?
That's why they hate him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Anything that they can't control, they hate. That's why, like, their first response is to stamp down. We saw this in Ireland with the attempted taking the lid off the bottle happening there. And their first concern was that people were sharing the video. It wasn't that it happened. It was that people were sharing the video of it happening, and people were getting upset that it happened. And they're trying to put a lid on a boiling pot, and that just is going to increase the pressure. Lauren said it like it's a release valve. It gives people a chance to vent. Well, when you don't give them a chance, you don't give them the voice, then that's when you get people in the streets. They just tried arresting Tommy Robinson, and Elon Musk funded his defense, and the judge threw the entire case out, so they overstepped because he wouldn't unlock his phone because they're trying to get something on him by making him unlock his phone. I don't know British laws. I don't understand how they operate, and I know that they don't have enshrined freedom of speech. However, I mean, this is the birthplace of the Magna Carta. They need to do something, and I think all of Europe is starting to hit this boiling point. You see it in Ireland. I mean, Belfast, half of Belfast is on fire. Is that what England wants? Because that's what will happen. You know, you push people too far, and they will turn around and get what you're afraid of. The British pride themselves on being very civilized, well, outside of like maybe a soccer match, but very civilized and very respectable. That's why it works so well with them to not be called names. But when they have enough, the British used to rule the world. You're seeing this now. You can't provide all these social programs and a military, so they have no military. That's why the United States leaving NATO would be such a shock to them, because they've handed over everything and to a lot of these people coming into the countries that aren't contributing. There's no jobs to fill, so why are they coming in? They're concerned about the population reversal. But this is what's going to happen. You're going to get people to a boiling point, and then you're really going to have the problems that they are trying to portray. And you notice now, this is why they want to shut it down, because on Twitter or X, you have certain people marching through the street, like screaming, yelling, breaking things, and being very aggressive, and they're left alone. But then you have the native British people that go out there and get upset, and the police are grabbing them, throwing them to the ground, and beating them. That is the thing that will set the powder keg.
So I know Lauren wants to weigh in. Lauren, let me set this up and then add this to what you're going to say, please. I really would like us to talk about the sinister nature of the Blue Sky effort, because I think they know the water's going to boil, and what they're trying to do is say, oh, you can still communicate, you can still connect with your friends on Blue Sky, kids.
Well, this is definitely an authoritarian's dream. This is absolutely what they want. And when there was some talk about how there are ways around this. There are, but I think they are less effective than you might imagine. It's actually the way that the internet is structured today. It is very easy to control and route and view information without you being aware of it. And I think that some of those controls are not necessarily as effective as you might think. The other optimistic point that I wanted to make is that Europe does have one safety mechanism built into it that automatically triggers when the people have had enough, and that safety mechanism is called Germany. So eventually there will come a point at which somebody is going to throw down and say, okay, we'll solve this problem.
You're saying that Germany has been a problem in the past, Lauren? They got a pattern of... Oh, wait,
I'm saying that when they decide that they have enough, that they have a tendency to find an efficient solution of one kind or another.
Hang on, I'm reading about this. It does appear that Germany twice has decided to take on not one country, not two, but the entire world.
Yes, they just decided that they wanted to fight, and by God, they did.
And look at what's happening in that country. There's a lot of people in that country that are the political winds are shifting. Look at Poland. Look at what's happening in Germany. Even Sweden is now doing things. They're outlawing certain dress codes and things. So there's a lot happening. Italy is starting to do some of this stuff. Europe is starting to wake up. Now, if they can get away from their WEF overlords, that's going to be the question. They are hampered by the fact that they have no Second Amendment. So that's keep that in mind, Americans. That's why that stuff isn't happening here yet. But that's why.
It would have, had the election gone a different way. It would have. They already were trying it. They did truth. Well, I'll leave that aside. But hang on, Wiz. Let me give it to you to wrap up, because this actually is way worse than what we're talking about. So I just want to hand to you the dystopian opportunity to really tell us how the UK is the precipice of hell. Wiz, what this means under the guise of it's for the children. Wiz, what this means is that everybody's identity is going to be linked to their device. And that's pretty much already the case, even in the United States, but it's going to go to the UK government. And so, Wiz, the UK government now is going to know exactly every video, every program, every podcast their population listens to. And if the UK government then wants to put people onto watch lists because they dare be, politically disagreeable, then the UK government can do all of that. And I see no reason they would not do that based on what we've been watching. And, there's the possibility that some folks out there are going to start saying, I love the pro show. I love Real Life Fake Wizard, but I don't want my government knowing I'm watching that. And guys, I'm sorry, I can't do that anymore. And I think we're at the edge of that nightmare in the UK and beyond.
Oh, yeah. Let me take it from a different direction there. That's very similar.
Darker, sir. Go darker.
Nearly every time a company starts collecting biometrics, at some point, they have a data breach. And when they have a data breach, that means your identity, your information, your biometrics, which in many cases cannot be replaced or changed because they're biometrics, can be leaked to bad actors. We talked earlier, Discord, the social media app, they had something close to 70,000 people had their data breached when they started rolling that out. And that was through another third-party company that they have coming in to do it, because the government is never going to do it themselves. And then the companies that they're mandating to collect that information, they never do it themselves, because neither of those two entities want the responsibility of handling your data. So they go through a third-party company, which usually has no problem with taking the hit when they inevitably have data leaked out. They just don't care. So they go to court and they pay out all this money, and it doesn't matter. But you know what? The government's got your information. It is a moral responsibility of humanity to fight back against biometric collection. I am staunchly against it. If there's a platform that I'm using, for instance, with Discord, like we had a very strong community for the fake wizards on Discord. And when they rolled out the biometrics, I shut it down. Now that means I'm cutting off the ability for me to directly connect with my audience, but it's really to try to hopefully protect them and myself from any of us having to give our identities and IDs away to publicly traded companies that have no business touching your biometrics. The government will tell you that it's all about protecting the children. Oh, it's about protecting. But it is not protecting you. It's never, ever about protecting you. It's always somebody else. And that somebody else doesn't even exist.
That's right. It's not about the kids, folks. They could protect the kids in a different way. They want them on Blue Sky. They want them sending messages on Blue Sky. They want to get them used to being on a place like Blue Sky. And they want all the data on all the people all across their country so they can track them. And all the dangers that come with that. This is Orwellian. Might be worse than Orwellian. It's there at the Chinese level. I mean, this is now at that surveillance level in the UK. And pray for our friends across the pond. They're in for a tough time. They are going to have to take a stand against this. And I don't know how that's going to go. But this cannot go beyond the borders of Britain. It simply cannot. This is an affront to Western society. See, I told you we'd talk about important things tonight. I said we'd do that. We did that.
That's a very important one. That's a really big one.
We're not done, by the way. We got more stuff. Hang tight. Lauren! The super chats.
Jonas 9652 for 5 saying, are the glowing hamsters for the wheel that powers Pro Studio?
lights are not twinkling unless those hamsters are drinking from the fountain of super chats.
Patrick Ganaway for 5. Will Brooks reprise his role as Yogurt in Spaceballs 2? He's pretty much as old as Yoda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just Jay for 10. Calling it blue milk in the park shows how much they didn't understand the IP. They went straight for the Easter egg joke when it would have been better to make it a proper alcoholic drink.
Well, I could at least made it milk. It's rice water. So it's no wonder it tastes like watered down Fruity Pebbles. It's rice water.
Yes, Galaxy's Edge is the only place they're not pushing alcohol.
No, they're still pushing alcohol there.
Jeremy Chaser for 2. Billboard money. Make it so, pro.
$2. I appreciate it. We'll that's going to buy us a little tiny portion of that billboard. But folks, when a bunch of you get together, there's no telling what we can do.
Friend of the channel, Aubrey, gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
Now that's feeding those hamsters.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
By the way, did you guys see that the woman who played the mom on Alf, she passed away and the obituary is, going after Trump? I just thought, boys and girls, do not make my, if I kick the bucket, do not make it be about somebody political, because especially if they're still in power, because that just means I lost. Like I went down losing. I don't know. What a strange thing.
Do you remember the old saying that nobody's tombstone says, I wish I had spent more time at work? Well, I found the next thing that's worse than that. Like I was obsessed with the political figure.
Right. I had TDS. Because you know what? In 100 years, somebody's going to look at that and say, what was that? I have no idea what that is. Which should put into perspective just how silly it would be to have your entire life be focused on that.
I'm just saying James Buchanan sucked. John S. for another 5. Sounds to me like there will be a black market for non-UK phones.
There's a huge battle that's about to happen because SpaceX and the Starlink systems. And how do you stop? I think they're going to ban. And here's the thing. The more that they try to do this kind of stuff, like if they ban Starlink in the UK, they're going to be practically in the Stone Age compared, to the United States. And they already are. They already are. Europe is not an economic powerhouse anymore. That's over. That's over. In fact, I would argue that Argentina might be getting ready to leapfrog Europe. That's how crazy things are right now. Europe has forfeited its place in the economic standing of the world.
Patrick Ganaway for another 5. Heck, cops will arrest you in the UK just for standing on a sidewalk. They might think you're praying or something.
I watched them arrest a woman who they asked her, was she praying? And she said, in my head. And they arrested her. And what that means is they'll arrest any Christian, they'll arrest any Jew, anybody who believes that you can speak to God with your eyes closed and your mouth shut. Anybody who thinks that when the Bible says to pray without ceasing, every one of you in the UK can go to jail at any time of day if you believe that.
Silent Watcher for 5. I hope I'm not too off topic. The US beat the UK to car surveillance with mandated dash cameras inside all cars by 2027 to monitor for intoxication.
I'm going to have to be honest on that. I don't know the rule there. It's not often I find myself ignorant, but I do not know this one well enough to make a statement one way or the other. Does anybody know anything on this mandate?
I've heard of the kill switch.
It seems to me a breathalyzer would be better than a camera system because somebody's got to monitor the camera system.
Well, AI will do that. It's looking for distracted driving. I have a friend of mine who works for a maintenance company that works on forklifts, and their company has cameras in there monitoring their drivers when they're doing things. So they're not looking at the phone, they're not looking at the windows. It's which I'm sure is
basically the way the Tesla works.
Yeah.
See, the thing is with Tesla, like they can purge, you can delete all of the video. So I don't know if the law, like, I would have to know more specifics about the law before I weigh in on this one.
I think it's a push to get everything into selfless driving cars and self-driving cars. I think.
But I'll tell you this, I will make myself not ignorant. I'll look into this ASAP and I'll give a better answer.
John S. for another 5. If Kamala Harris had won, we might be in the same boat. After the Joe Rogan interview, she started talking about how the internet platforms had to be regulated.
Listen, the next 2 segments. I think you're going to say, yeah, we're not far from the UK if some people get some power. They want to do this. They want it badly. In fact, I'll say this. I think Hollywood and I think some of these celebrities, I think they want China to win. I think they want China to win. As long as Trump loses, they don't care. They just want him to lose. And they just want whatever the pile is of money in the United States that's left over when they destroy the thing. As long as they've got more of it than the other people, they're happy. That's all they want.
They don't care about China winning. They're the meme from Rise of Skywalker. I don't care if you win. I just want Kylo Ren to lose. That's all it is.
And if everybody's in squalor, so long as they have a better cardboard house, that's it.
Yep.
I want to be better. I want to be better than the rubes that I can't stand.
Patrick Ganaway for another 5. This stuff is happening in China. Without any way to express their feelings, Chinese are starting to demonstrate, burn down factories, and more.
China, it's very difficult to get a read on what Chinese people think. It's very difficult to get an authentic answer. And the problem is that when people don't feel safe their entire life to give an authentic answer, oftentimes they don't even know how to articulate something authentically because they've been acting their entire lives. And that's what a credit or what a social credit system does. When every transaction you make, when every place you go, when everything you do is judged by the government and places you higher or lower in the hierarchy, if you've been doing that since you were 2 years old, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to even get an honest answer out of you, even if we could get you out of that.
Neo for 2 British pounds sterling. Look into the Fabian Society. It's a UK cabal.
Well, check it out, Neo. Thank you. You are the one.
Adam Jam for 10. Carrier pigeons are back in vogue.
I'm sure Starmer will be shooting them down.
Cheryl Lynn 68 for 5. UK also putting a curfew on 17 and under of 8:30 p.m. for social media. But not to worry, they're going to let 16-year-olds vote.
I'll tell you something, too, that caught my eye. And maybe it's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing now and taking the risk that we do. You know, whatever risk it is. It's not, you know, we're happy to do what we do. We love it. When the pandemic happened, I watched some leaders of states. I think they actually took glee in having the power to shut stuff down and destroy society. Like, I think they enjoyed it. I got the feeling that power, like, they never thought they would have that kind of power and the chance to use it, to wield it. They became monsters. And that was a learning experience for me to see that.
Not just the politicians, sometimes your neighbors and coworkers too.
You know, and experiment after experiment has shown there's some not insignificant number in the population that when these kinds of situations happen, they do not act valiantly. They do not act on principle. They, they're ready to tattle, man. It goes all the way back to when they were 4 years old. If they tattled when they were 4, watch out for them, man. They're getting the paddy wagon ready for you when the commies come rolling by.
Yeah. Have you guys heard about the Bible ban in Canada?
No.
Yeah, look into it.
All right.
Yeah.
They arrested that pastor 3 or 4 times too.
Yeah.
If only we knew a pastor in Canada.
Yeah.
We need to hook into a trebuchet.
Superfly 1234 for 5. Got an idea. Move all the good Brits to California. They don't even need to be legal, and have them vote out the corruption in that terrible state.
They wouldn't even be able to change anything because they could just do the mail-in ballot thing for as many people as they need.
I think it's so shocking to people in the UK, again, as they learn how small their economy is, how poor their living conditions are, in comparison to the United States. And I'm not trying to be mean. You know, I'm not trying to put the US on this pedestal and say, well, you know, we're just so much better. But, you know, there's 40 million people in California, and there's 60 million in the UK, 65 million in the UK. The UK is the size, it's barely bigger than one of our, you know, biggest states.
Yeah.
Spring 91 Bear for 2. Is YouTube going to be sensitive about me reading this name?
I think we just leave that there and say hi.
Very
Thank
well.
you,
Hello,
Cherokee.
Spring Bear.
The algorithms. By the way, I'm kind of shocked we're still in the air. Hang on a second. Let me look at something. I want to see, because I thought when we played the BBC, I thought we're taking a risk. I'm going to look and see if we're still even monetized.
They might copyright claim you, but you could always hopefully remove that later.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we'll do what we got to do. So far, so good. I'm surprised.
All right. Gilliam II for 20. What I understand from Europe, they've already largely taken away young people's futures in terms of housing and jobs. Now they're taking away distractions. Not sure this will work out the way they think.
I don't know how to explain this any better than we have in terms of Europe is toast. Economically, Europe is toast. And I don't say that with joy. I say that with great trepidation and fear. Like, that's not good. It's really, really bad that it's now the U.S. versus China, because it would be great if Europe was a powerhouse economically. So then you've got the U.S. and Europe working together, you know, because we don't want China to win, because China is a communist country that doesn't believe in the value of individuals. Okay. And I do. I think that the individual is infinitely valuable, that we're divinely valuable. So we need Europe to believe that and to be winning. And Europe gave it all up. It's over economically for Europe. Listen, if you look at the top 100 largest companies in the world, 2 of them are out of Europe. 2.
Which ones are they?
I'll have to look it up again. Hang tight.
This next one is going to hurt me to read. This is from, I believe it's the Hasta or possibly the Hasta, missing the, but it's for $5. Maybe Grogu and Boba Fett can save the UK.
Yeah, I like his profile. I like his profile picture from X-Men #1, one of the alternate covers. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Butter Biscuit for 5. The surveillance is true. If you get in your car in an excited state, you won't be able to start it. Plus, they're selling your data from this.
Are we talking about the U.S.? If we're talking about the U.S., I'm going to have to look into this before I give an articulate answer. I don't like to say things and be really, really, really wrong. And I just don't know enough about this yet to weigh in.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was true.
By the way, Nick, you were asking the top 2 companies that made the top 100 out of Europe. Mm-hmm. It's ASML Holding out of the Netherlands. They have a $600 billion valuation, and Novo Nordisk out of Denmark with a $350 billion valuation. After that, you have to go all the way down to Louis Vuitton out of France at $260 billion. And to give you an idea of what we're looking at, you know, in terms of the biggest companies in the world, NVIDIA is $5.1 trillion.
Wow.
Google is $4.5 trillion. Apple is $4.3 trillion.
Elon is $1 trillion.
Yeah, well, SpaceX is $2.52 trillion, and that doesn't include Tesla. If you merge Tesla together, you're over $3 trillion.
Wow.
And the first European company that makes the list is $600 billion, which is ASML Holding out of the Netherlands. That's where Europe is right now.
They need to step up their game over there.
Can't. They wiped out their energy.
Yeah.
They wiped out their energy production. They can't.
Silent Watcher for 5. It's AI powered and it has a kill switch if it decides you aren't fit to drive. It's a Biden administration policy set in place back in 2021.
But is it still active? Like, because once that's what I got to look into. Is it still active? Because once those departments change over under a different administration, usually they wipe out these edicts, because that wasn't passed through the legislature. That was passed through, some executive order. I mean, I would imagine that the first day that Trump came in, that got wiped out.
Yeah, I'm just going to say me and Mexican Iron Man have not been fit to drive in his Tesla, and it drove us back to his house, and it didn't turn anything off.
I'm shocked.
Nick, I'm glad this is a sparsely watched show, and there's definitely nobody in the authorities saying, "Fine, Mexican Iron Man's house."
Yeah.
John Wayne, 1985, member for 6 months. Sorry, Nick. Roll Tide.
Hey, but somebody ban that guy. Ban him from the chat.
Well, the Duke needs to be getting his grandson, back into order. Okay, don't mess with Nick. You need to get your grandson Brendan, back in line.
Yeah,
I sent him a stern letter.
You did, just like your congressman.
Stern letter.
Packing protons for 5. Any American loving Scottish or UK lasses fleeing the censorship, call me.
No, notice he's not interested in the laddies, just the lassies, okay? And not the dogs.
That's it for our super chats.
All right, folks, we want to say thank you on the super chats. We are at just about halfway on the super chat goal. We'd love to hit it. Help us win it, folks. Keep the lights on at Somewhere Sunny USA and keep us telling the truth with a capital T all across the US of A and the YouTubes. All right, gentlemen, damas y caballeros, Wiz, are you good for one more segment, sir?
Yes.
One more. Okay.
One more.
Uno más for the Wiz. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in. Let's talk about celebrities, because it turns out, just in time for the 250th anniversary, they really hate America. Who knew? The Hollywood celebrities suddenly hate America, and they're finally ready to admit it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in with Breitbart. And I know some of you out there are going to say, Breitbart, that's a right-leaning website. Well, who else is going to be covering this? And we'll talk about articles from the Mary Sue. We've had that on the channel. We've done all kinds of websites, right? We'll do Breitbart right now. We'll do it, okay? Here we go. From John Nolte. Robert De Niro compares loving America to loving a mean old awful husband. It says, while President Trump's UFC White House event turned into a triumphant celebration of America and the American spirit, and you all can decide what you think about that. Elsewhere, a bunch of elderly celebrities staged a counter event that looked like amateur hour at the rest home. We can't play this because it's got audio. We can play a lot more. But basically, folks, what happened is that Jane Fonda, that's right, she's not done after NAMM. Jane Fonda counter-programmed the 250th celebration. And here are what some of the celebrities did, okay? Because here is Bette Midler coming in. Here's Bette Midler speaking up at Rise Up, Sing Out, the thing put on by Jane Fonda to counter-program the Orange Godzilla.
All you fascists bound to lose.
All you fascists bound to lose. Let me tell you, that's what a career. What a career.
Well, good thing there's no fascists in this country winning. So
yeah. Here's what Robert De Niro had to say, courtesy of Aiken, I think, at Aiken. Robert De Niro, I hate to say it, but loving our country is starting to sound like a spouse who's been abousified, saying they love their abousifier. And if you're wondering why I'm pronouncing it that way, ladies and gentlemen, it's the YouTubes. I can't love a country, he says, that starts stupid and inhumane wars, deleting thousands of innocents and indirectly causing the deletions and suffering of millions more. I can't love a country that takes healthcare away from millions of people and uses that money to enrich their pals in the El Trumpo Epstein class. I can't love... You know what? Let's just play it. Here he is. Ready?
Right? Later, the letter stated, regardless of our...
Somebody slap up De Niro. He's broken. Come on, unplug him and plug him back in.
Yeah, today, Junior.
Junior.
Our political affiliation, or whether we engage in politics or not, we all love our country. So when we...
The celebrities have gathered together. And I want to point out, too, it's the old celebrities. It's not the young celebrities. And why is that? It's because these people are still stuck in the Vietnam era. They haven't evolved. And because the young celebrities know this stuff is absolutely toxic. But listen to this again, okay? He says, we love our country, and I want you to hear the applause at the celebrity gala where they are trying to defeat the Orange Man in his 80th birthday celebration and the 250th celebration of the US of A.
So with me.
Sorry, he wasn't expecting an applause for the country. You interrupted him.
Not so fast. The phrase, we all love our country, stuck in my throat. Because our country isn't so lovable right now. I hate to say it, but loving our country is starting to sound like an abuse, saying they love their abuser. I can't love a country that starts stupid and inhumane wars.
All right, hold there. Because it sounds to me like the celebrities are saying, clearly, without hesitation, they don't love America. But it's the old celebs, Wiz. I'll go to you first on this one. Wiz, it's the old celebrities. It's the geezers. You don't see Timothée Chalamet doing this. You don't see Tom Holland doing this. They know better. They know that this is the destruction. But De Niro and the rest of them, they're kicking the ladder out behind them. They climbed up, they got their mansions, and if Hollywood burns to the ground as a result of their actions, they don't care.
The country is going on 250 years of existing. Can you name every controversy of the past 250 years in our political system? Probably not. I certainly can't. I don't know if you guys at home can either. The idea that you got a guy, De Niro, and really everybody, Kimmel as well. I mean, it's not even the geezers per se, but you have all these people who made names for themselves and became famous to some extent. And maybe they deserved it, maybe they didn't. Well, hang on one second. Maybe they deserved it, maybe they didn't. But could you imagine ending that legacy by just being known as the guy who hated the current political administration? Like, that is so boring. That is so boring. And I think it's not just for me, and I know it's not just for you guys too, but it's for everybody. You see De Niro now and you're like, eh. But I also feel the same way for people that are on the right. I feel I'm an equal opportunist. I'm not interested in hearing your political affiliations, your political biases. I don't care at all. And you know what? To your point, Pro, young people don't either. Young people don't want to hear it. Get off the stage, Grandpa. Yeah. You did some good movies, but you haven't done anything. You played pretend in a couple movies. Why should I care about anything you have to say? You don't know anything about the real world. You don't know anything about normal people. Sit down, shut up, get whatever awards you want. You made all the money you could possibly want. You got multiple families, all these children. You've lived a good life, but there's no reason I should take anything De Niro or anyone else has to say, because it's not going to change any of our lives.
The only thing I was going to push back on was you said not to describe them as geezers because Jimmy Kimmel was included. Wiz, it drives him crazy when we call him a geezer. So I think we should definitely call. Let me call out some names, folks. Here's some of the folks who attended and who just were very harsh with America. Julia Roberts, Tessa Thompson, Lily Gladstone, RuPaul, Wilson Cruz, Joy Reid, Jane Fonda. The list goes on. And what's amazing is, so you heard De Niro, you heard what he had to say. Not a single one of them came out and said later, hey, correction, I don't agree with that. I still love America. And that's where this goes, I think, into a very ugly place. Lauren, you're giving me a skeptical look there. What did we do? What did we make it with?
No, nothing skeptical about this. I'm reading a super chat that came in and trying to understand what it means.
Okay, we'll get there. Lauren, you tell me what it means that the celebrities didn't come back and say, hey, Robert went too far. Bob went too far. Bob De Niro just went a little too far here. We still love America. It's Trump we don't like. They didn't do that, Lauren.
They live in a bubble. They have swallowed everything that they've been told in their social circles. They believe that America was founded on a rotten foundation and deserves to be taken down a peg. That's what they really believe. It's why when they try to voice support for the country, it comes out hollow and it gets that weak kind of applause that you heard at that event. They don't believe it and they can't perform it. So unless they really do believe it, they can't voice it in the way that's convincing, which is odd considering they're actors.
That makes them literally our enemies, though, Lauren. Not like I'm wanting to be vindictive or hurt them, or I don't wish ill upon them, but like if they hate the country, well, I live in the country. So if you hate the country and you don't want it to succeed, which would be, I think, part of hating the country, then I say, wait a minute, hold on. Do you want, like, where does this start and stop? Is it just the red states you want to see suffer, or is it the purple states? Like, who is it exactly that you hate? And what does that mean precisely?
Let me play devil's advocate a little bit. They may be your enemy in the sense that your goals are diametrically opposed. But if you were to come across somebody from, say, North Korea who believed that you were their enemy, would you blame them, or would you recognize that they had been brainwashed?
Yeah.
In this case,
I mean, they don't get the brainwash excuse. They have the internet. They have, so many ways to engage. It's their decision to live in a bubble. They can escape it. And, you can dislike
escape it
the
if you don't
politicians. You
see
don't
that
have to
it's
hate
there.
America.
But hold on a minute. I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I agree with you that
I'm ready for you.
They're rich, they're pampered, but I believe that in a way they're in a box they can't see. They don't know anybody outside their bubble. They have paranoia that has been instilled within them by the systems that they engage with. I'm not convinced that unless you actually move them someplace and take away all of their wealth and the comforts that they lean on, so that they have to live a regular life like everybody else, I'm not sure that they can escape from the box.
So I'm going to tell you why I disagree, Lauren. If you go back in time, we covered this maybe 6-8 months ago. Jimmy Kimmel's wife, who happens to be his producer. Nepotism? Yep. Thy name is Kimmel. So his wife said, who was the interview with? Might have been Bill Maher was talking about it. That Jimmy Kimmel's wife has conservative family. And because they could not convince their family to switch their votes, they decided to stop going and seeing her family. They ostracized the family and said, we're not going to come for Christmas, Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. So I think that was the Bill Maher story we did 6 or 8 months ago. I think these people understand. I think they know people who disagree with them. I think they're close to people who disagree with them. I think that here's the deal. Okay, try this on, see if this fits. Because we want to get this as close to reality as we can. I think that if you're in Hollywood, part of what got you there was complete and total narcissism. Because most people don't want to be famous, even if they think they do, right? If you want to be famous, like, you got to love that people would know you more than having freedom, because part of being famous is you lose freedom. And most people value freedom more than they would value fame. Like, who cares if a stranger knows your face? But the people in Hollywood, they do. And they make a career out of it. They make a business out of it. Okay? And you have to be narcissistic to think, well, I'm going to go pretend to be other people on screen. And that's going to be my thing. I'm going to go pretend to be other people. And then on top of that, I'm also going to speak authoritatively about things I have no idea anything about them whatsoever. So the people in Hollywood, they're quite narcissistic. That's how they got there. And I think the fact that they can't persuade people to vote against Trump in the numbers they believe is owed to them drives them insane.
I don't disagree with that at all, but I'm going to push back one more way gently.
Okay. I can handle it.
How many times have you worked at a place where you made friends, you became close, you felt like you were family until you moved on to another job? And then suddenly the contacts lessen until they stop altogether and you become strangers again.
Yep.
How often does that happen to you? Does it come as a shock?
Is it a shock to me?
Yeah.
I think when you're younger, it probably is a shock to most people. Unless you were a kid who moved schools a lot, then I don't think it's a shock. Yeah.
Right. So this is my point, is that I think this is kind of the situation that a lot of these people are in. They're in this bubble where they're not interacting with people in another state of life. And until they are forced to be in proximity with those kind of people and understand what living in that way is like, they cannot have the kind of empathy that's required to see them as anything other than, as you put it, an enemy.
So you're saying that we need to send them to South Dakota to go have dinner with some real people?
I'm saying we need to desegregate.
Okay, I'm good with that. I mean, I don't want to go live in the Beverly Hills, but you go do it. We'll desegregate it that way. You go live there.
All right.
All right. We're going to volunteer Lauren as tribute. All right, Nick. I think this is horrible optics. I think all the young celebrities should be furious with Robert De Niro and Bette Midler and all this crew, because they should say, "What are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? That you come out here and say that you hate the country, or that you don't like the country anymore, because it shines a bad light on everybody in that industry." Then, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing is, there probably is a lot of young celebrities that feel that way, and probably even a lot of old ones that are the same age as all these people, but they're not going to say anything because then they're going to be blackballed, and not get any work. So literally, and it's funny that, the left can dictate that and what's allowed, what's not allowed, to be blackballed, not blackballed, whatever. But the right, somebody who's right wing conservative, they can't come out and give their piece. I always use Robert Meyer Burnett as an example when talking about this whole left right thing, because
they call him RMB, Nick.
Yeah, RMB. So he's in that business. He's out there in LA. But I can have a conversation with him and not have it get to the point to where we're ready to, start punching each other out or anything.
Sure.
These people, they're so far outside of reality of the real world, like Lauren was saying, in their bubble, that they can't see the forest through the trees. So yeah, I'm sure there's probably a lot of other celebrities that are just like, yeah, I wish these people would just shut up. But unfortunately, they just can't say anything.
Yeah, and it's a horrible situation. It's horrible timing ahead of the 250th. It's just, you could not. I don't think it plays well. I don't think it plays well to say that you're not proud of the country, or that you dislike the country. I think that's always a loser. I think that's a loser with the public. And Andy, as we watch what's happened to Hollywood, I know you're on a panel often. You're good friends with Gary Ambrosia. He has said here on the Pro Show that, traveling to Los Angeles now and some of the other California cities where these Hollyweirds live and migrate and, conversate, that it's like going to a war zone, Andy. So I don't think most of America wants to live in the America they want to be.
Well, look at the flight of people from the blue states to the red states. Yeah. Look at how many people are leaving because they've given up. I live in New Jersey, and I just read a thing today. The average property tax in New Jersey is now over $10,000 a year, and for you don't get much out of it. It's just they keep spending. They don't know how to stop spending. We just had a thing with my daughter's a teacher. They just had to let go 5 teachers, and that's endemic of all around the state. And our governor just pledged $25 million to the defense of illegal immigrants against ICE. And the problem with it is the Overton window is what used to be considered liberal, because it's that meme with the stick figures, and they've run so far left to where they're embracing communism and socialism, the things that have failed every single time they've been tried. And yet somehow these people think, oh, it'll be fine this time. We're going to get it right this time. No, they got it right last time. That's the way it works, because when you give ultimate authority to a government, that's exactly what happens. You're seeing it now in Europe, as we were talking about before. And this is what these celebrities don't understand. The world doesn't need them, especially with AI coming. The world doesn't need a celebrity. And when they turn out to be, I was just watching Critical Drinkers. He does those takedowns, like the rise and fall of different celebrities. And he did Ruby Rose. And he said they cast her, originally her character in John Wick 2 had dialogue, but she was such a pain in the butt that they took the dialogue away and made her character mute.
Yeah.
They're not that necessary, and they don't get that. And these people don't live in the real world. Mark Ruffalo is worth $30 million. He's not in the position I am in, like watching my taxes go up and thinking to myself, at what point, even when I pay off my house, Now I still have to figure how much am I going to have to pay for property taxes because it's practically another mortgage. They just put up a building across the street from me, a rental unit, a duplex. The rent on it is $3,000 a month for rent.
Wow.
The numbers don't add up.
And Andy, these guys and girls, they own 4, 5, 6, 7 houses. They're worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And they're unhappy. They're deeply unhappy. They hate the country that gave them this. That's what's amazing is they could have made it be an anti-Trump rally and whatever, right? You know, some folks did anti-Joe Biden rallies, whatever. But they flipped that script and nobody had the cojones to come out later and say, I don't agree with what De Niro said. I love my country. And that's the real shame of it is, and I think they should be ashamed. I think they've done a major disservice to their industry. I think that they are making the quickly forthcoming removal of celebrities as a status symbol in America. That they're sending that to extinction levels faster than ever before. Bring on the new media, bring on the influencers. They can't be worse than celebs. At least I don't think so. Lauren, Wiz, you guys got anything else you want to add? Wiz, what do you think about that devil advocates thing that Lauren did? He makes some good points, or we land on that?
Oh, sure. But I mean, that's Lauren's going to be a contrarian sometimes, right, Lauren?
Well, no, he's taking the side of De Niro. I don't know what's going on with him.
I will occasionally argue a point that I don't personally hold because it leads to interesting conversation.
Lauren, I'll be honest. For folks who don't know, we have to have that. I mean, do people want 5 people to all agree? Do just go around and all of us agree on the same thing? No, that's not what you want. So in the comments in the chat, be nice to Lauren. Lauren's doing what we got to do. We got to do that, right? Lauren, is it true you love De Niro? You're a De Niro lover.
No, I do not like De Niro, but I do actually hold those beliefs in this particular argument. I think that some of them are just nasty people, but I do think a lot of them are just plain ignorant. They are so spoiled, they have no idea where they are at in the stratosphere of human existence. I don't think that they have any conception of what the average person lives like, and if they did, I suspect they'd be a little bit more humble. I would hope so anyway, because if they weren't, my gosh, that's somebody you just don't want to be around.
Wiz, it comes to you. Final words.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
The celebrities are, I mean, this isn't going to stop. It's not going to go away. Even they could fade into obscurity, and people already don't care what they have to say or what they think. Something we talked about a little earlier on is the young people don't care. Well, respectfully, it's the young people's world in a lot of ways now, and
not De Niro's world anymore.
It's not De Niro's world anymore. The world that and this is a completely separate topic for another day. But millennials, Gen Z, the kids today that are now the adults that were supposed to be taking over the world in a couple ways. Well, they've realized that the world that they were promised no longer exists, and so no, they don't give a crap about what De Niro has to say.
Wiz, let me see if I understand you. When you say that the young people today were promised a world that doesn't exist, what you mean is the idea that I go to school and I get my 4.0 GPA and I go to college and the college gets me a job. That's gone.
That is gone. Well, you're going to be able to have a family. You're going to be able to work your 9 to 5 and then come home and spend time with the family. You can take care of your parents. You could spend time with friends. You'll be able to afford a car and pay for groceries, and healthcare will be stressful, but things will be livable.
Right.
And then the reality is none of that is true.
And then the entertainers also said, oh, by the way, if you're a white guy who likes girls, if that's what you aspired to be, you're a part of the evil patriarchy. And how dare you ever want to be anything? You should just roll over and let everybody else climb the ladder. That also was part of that baked in, right?
Oh, step aside. Specifically, your time is over if you're not of us.
Right. And then the dinosaurs who have projected that De Niro's, Julia Roberts, I hate to throw her in here, but we're going to have to now, Jane Fonda's, they came out and said the other night, if you don't agree with that, we hate you. And we hate America because you live here with us. That's what they did.
It's past left and right politics. Yeah. I think it's past that. But for these people, it's not. But the real problems, the systemic issues, are way past left-right politics.
Right. And I'll just say it this way, folks. Whether you're white, black, brown, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what biology you are, doesn't matter what sex you are, doesn't matter your ethnicity, your race, your religious beliefs. If you want to go out and be successful and own a nice home and have a little pool in the back and, raise a family, good for you. And don't let the Hollyweirds hate you for it. You don't deserve that. You're out there working and you're doing good stuff. And they're making movies, often bad movies. Don't let bad movie stars from a bygone era pull you down. Don't you let that happen, okay? Don't you let them rain on your self-esteem. You're awesome. They're dinos, and they don't know the meteor already hit. Wiz, we were just beginning to have fun, and now you got to drop.
I do.
You're just getting going.
I do have to drop.
You were swinging every single time at Grand Slam, and here we are yet again.
Before you go, there is a super chat that is the one that I was questioning how to respond to that is somewhat addressed to you.
Well, this is even better, isn't it? Bring it up on the screen. What do we got? Decipher for us, Wiz.
Packing protons for $5. Of course, I will also accept any Japanese ladies with real-life fake wizard's direct ancestral connection. Which I think means that he wants some of Packing Proton's DNA.
Hang on a second. I'm going to give Wiz a chance to think about this. I did not realize you were a J-drama.
Look, the response that I would hold doesn't belong on this channel, so I'm gonna have to refrain because I don't think it would be very nice, and I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Fight.
It's time for fake wizard, real fighting. It's time for battle, so
what is this madness?
When
You shall not pass.
are all enticing. Real fake wizard, breathe the lightning.
My favorite color is light tan. My favorite animal is puppies. I like serving the Lord, hiking, play volleyball.
You gotta be kidding me. Everything you just said is my favorite thing to do. Every day.
Every day. Every day. Thank you, Packing.
Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend from 1999 sent in a Purple Heart.
All right, Lauren, with a name this epic, okay? With a name this epic, we have to read that differently. Do you remember, Lauren, you remember Ren and Stimpy?
Yes, but I didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, that's going to make this more difficult for you. Do you remember from the Ren and Stimpy show, Powdered Toast Man?
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. Hang on a second.
You may be on your own for this one, buddy.
I know what you're talking about.
Hang on. We're going to get a picture of Powdered Toast Man so Lauren can understand. All right. That's a pretty good image. Here we go. Hang on, folks. Professional show here. We're going to get up on the screen. All right. That's Powdered Toast Man, Lauren. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when I see Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend, space goes coast to coast, but also Powdered Toast Man comes to mind. And I think we need to give this name the same kind of oomph, same kind of pizzazz that was given to Powdered Toast Man. So every time Powdered Toast Man appeared on screen, he would say something like, Powdered Toast Man. And I think we need to say, Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend for 1999.
You just did.
And now you just so you gotta juxtapose it, Lauren. You gotta say,
and you gotta say it just like that,
and then you gotta drop it down and say for 1999, Purple Heart.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do this.
We're ready.
Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend.
We're doing it
for 1999.
Now say Purple Heart.
Oh, sent in a Purple Heart. That is correct. I forgot that part. Was
Thank you.
that what you were looking for?
You know what? Lauren, we're on our way here.
All right. Snark for 5 sent in contacts, baby. Clear sight and reading, no glasses. Wait of the month for fitting, samples for a few weeks. Not cheap, but so worth it.
Snarky, congratulations, man. Glad to hear that you are you're back to the 2020 world. And hope they don't bother you too badly. You know, some people are contacts people. Some people after a while, they say, nope. And let us know how it goes, Snark. I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yep. Icelandic fart police for $2. You had a special voice for this one too, man?
No, I just feel badly on this one. I made a mistake. You're right. I shouldn't have done this to you, South Dakotans.
That's why I was born, was South Dakota, Rapid City.
Why would I wish celebrities on any good state out there? I should not have done this to you.
Also, caveat ties for 2. South Dakotan here. Great state. Hey, all.
We love South Dakota. I promise. I feel badly now that you, out of all the 50 I could have done, or let's say the 35 great states, we sent the celebrities there as the example. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Please.
Icelandic fart police again for $5. Correct, Andy. I'm giving up on trying to buy my first house in my home state, Colorado, because of all of the laws, FOID card especially, and taxes they push.
Yeah, I got family in Colorado, and they're literally, my aunt is like, I want to get out of this state as soon as possible and like move to Florida. She wants to move to Florida.
I have friends from Colorado, and I feel so badly for them. They loved Colorado in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
And what has happened to that state? They just, we don't talk about it enough because California and New York are even worse. But what happened to Colorado is a real shame.
Teddy D for $4.99. I have zero patience for these rich, clueless, out-of-touch leftist clown boomers, as well as their Gen X millennial buddies who hate America.
Well said, Fitty D. Well said. Hear, hear, and har, har. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Followed by, for another $4.99, we go to be entertained and not preached to. These people have or probably have sold their souls for dollars, fame, or power. They're irrelevant now.
Boy, the things some of them did to get to be famous would make a sailor blush, I tell you. All right, you know what, Fitty D? We can't let you go away for $10 without playing the clip.
Wait.
There's more than 10?
There's more.
Oh, Fitty
For another
D!
$4.99.
Let it rain, Fitty D!
Sadly, I'm at the point where I won't spend money on artists who hate me and Americans / people who work hard, do good things in life, and have a family.
Yeah.
So
Followed by...
No, hold on. I gotta respond to that one. I'll be honest, there are a very few celebrities where I'm there now. If their name is on the marquee, I don't want to see it. Mark Hamill, Mark Ruffalo, Pedro Pascal, Robert De Niro. Who am I missing, guys? There's one more.
Jane Fonda.
No, she doesn't make movies anymore. Nobody cares about her. There's another one. There's 5 celebrities. And listen, I'll go see some people who've said some awful, terrible things, but I draw the line. Like, if you hate me, I can't do it, Okay, for example, Rachel Zegler. I'll still go see a Zegler movie. She's crazy. I mean, she's crazy. But I don't know that she hates people. I don't think, maybe she does. But I think De Niro hates me. I can't go watch a movie where he hates me. Why would I want to do that? I don't expect him to do that for me.
Yeah. And I like De Niro as an actor. But he is, and I like Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, but both those guys have lost their rockers.
There's a 5th somewhere. I'll think of it later.
John Cusack.
How much is Cusack in?
Teddy D for another $4.99. I now choose to support creators / artists like the Pro family, and I thank God for bringing me into your orbit. I appreciate this community immensely.
And we thank God for you, Fitty D.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
What are those?
These are my Spider-Man pajamas.
Let me rephrase that. Why are you wearing those?
Because my He-Man pajamas are in the laundry.
That's a
George
bonus copy.
Clooney. Was George Clooney the one?
He's crazy, but I'll still go see Clooney if I have to. I mean, I'm not looking forward to a Clooney thing, but Clooney's loony.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, what else we got out there?
Pam Empson, member for 9 months. Justice for the Arizona streamers.
Go streamers of Arizona, and for those streamers in New Mexico who say, what about us? What about us? One day. All right, folks, we are powering through right now. We are well over halfway to the Super Chat goal. 20 more. El Vente needed to keep the door open to the dream, and the dream is that we get to do an AMA with you. Make it come true, folks. We'd love that. It's always an invitation, never an obligation. And we've got 2 more stories, more than usual tonight. We're going to hit these. The first one's quick. The second one, you know what? I think we're going to stick around with that for a little bit. So it's a later show than usual, folks. But let's dive in. What are we talking about next? Well, it turns out that everybody's noticing there's no more pride. Not in America, by the way. Okay, there's lots of American pride out there. But the month of June has been dumped by the companies. And it's not us saying it, although we are saying it. It's places like USA Today. It's like the Gray Lady. And they're hurt. They're deeply hurt. Saying goodbye to pride. Folks, as I have walked around over the last few days, the Walt Disney World Resort, I have noticed something has changed. You see, in the past Junes, as I perused my way around the parks, I would find all kinds of merchandise. I would find all kinds of rainbow insignia and, cakes and cupcakes and cookies and everything you could imagine. And it's all gone this June. It's all gone. I mean, really and truly, there are 4 murals in the Disney parks, and they are literally on the doors that cast members use to exit the parks. So you got to go way out of your way to find these things. At Animal Kingdom, for example, it's on an exit door to a backstage area. At Hollywood Studios, it's like hidden between a construction site and Star Tours. And why do I bring this up, folks? Because I'm about to go now to USA Today. But I want you to understand that it's everywhere. And it's the staunchest defenders of pride that have declined to participate this time. Sarah Pequeño is writing this one for USA Today. We knew corporations would abandon pride. It still hurts. The brands that are backing away from Pride Month are doing exactly what we knew they would do all along. Support LGBTQ plus people only as long as it was profitable. Now, here's what I'm going to say back to that, okay? And I'm going to be very gentle. People are expecting me to jump all over this, and I'm going to be gentle, okay, this time. If Christmas was unprofitable, they would happily drop Christmas.
100%.
This is just the nature of what companies do and what they are, okay? It says, at the start of June, I stopped by Le Target, they say, while running errands in the Soho neighborhood of New York. The store had just set out its summer merchandise, displaying an array of clothes, accessories, and sunscreens nestled within a series of red arches. As I hurried past tank tops and patterned shorts towards the pet section, I stopped to look at the Pride collection. There wasn't much. A single display of generic rainbow-colored shirts and home goods rested towards the back of the store with no signs declaring June to be Pride Month. I realized at that moment that in spite of the fact that I live in New York City, and in spite of the fact that I am part of the alphabet community, I hadn't seen many corporate advertisements related to this year's celebration. I think I know why. It seems that the era of rainbow capitalism that has endured since, back in the 60s, had made same-sex marriage law land in 2015 is no longer a guaranteed moneymaker for brands, leading them to downsize their efforts or abandon them altogether. It's the continuation of a troubling trend that began in 2024 with the re-election of President Donald Trump. But as we've showed you on the channel, folks, this pride decline happened the year before Trump came into office. So it precedes the orange Godzilla returning back to the White House. As conservatism rears its head across the country and corporations ditch diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, there is suddenly no incentive to support the alphabet community. And the author says, I hate to say it, but we told you this would happen. Now, I'm going to tell you a little deeper part of why this is happening. And panel, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. The reason that you're seeing pride completely disappear from entertainment, but also from merchandise, Disney parks. It's gone. The reason is because the merch never sold. I mean, it kind of did. There was a time when it was, maybe a couple of years it was a fad, but it really never sold. In fact, all this stuff would then go to these secondhand suppliers and resellers and Ollie's and, Five Below and Dollar Store. At Disney, they would put out huge, massive displays of Pride stuff, and then it would end up at Cass Collections or it would end up in flea markets in Florida. But Andy, where the money was made was that these companies, they would instill this into their DEI and ESG scores. And then they were rewarded by these huge funds, these huge hedge funds that would invest in them based on their ESG and DEI stuff. And that all came from these mega millionaires and billionaires, not trillionaires, but billionaires, like Soros and the others. And we don't want to go too deep into that. But Andy, as soon as the racket was gone, this was a loser money wise all along, and so they dropped it. I think they wanted this to be like Christmas again in June, but that never came. And they don't care about the virtue; they just care about the money. And so, I'm not shocked by any of this, Andy. I may be shocked how quickly it happened. I think that is a little surprising.
I think this comes down to the general public gave you this group exactly what they asked for. They wanted this, and then it turned out it wasn't enough. And it's like, and give me some more. And then you started to get some of the bad actors that had hitched their wagons to the those letters, and the abbreviation just kept getting longer and longer and longer. And now you've gotten people to a point, especially the young people now, who have the least tolerant views in decades, because it's like, yeah, we've already been there, we've done that, and we've given you everything, and it's still not enough. So guess what? We're finished with this. And it's ironically, I was an art major in college, so a lot of friends that I had were in this community, and most of them just wanted to be treated like everybody else. Well, good. Now you're being treated like everybody else. You're not special. Everyone has the same things. We all go home and we look for somebody to share our lives with. Maybe we have somebody. I don't want to, when I'm shopping at Walmart at 9:00 at night and I see an older couple, maybe my age or whatever, walking around with their shopping cart, and I look in there and there's a drop cloth, some duct tape and whipped cream, I don't want to think about what they're doing with it. It's like, and for some people to say you have to look at this as we're making this parade, and you have to see this thing that has nothing to do with just your baseline idea of two people love each other. It's morphed into something, and now people don't want to see it. It's become a detriment. And once it starts hitting your bottom line, it's one thing when corporations are making so much money that, yeah, they can throw some cash over here. And then when you start really promoting, when you go Bud Light and you do all these things, people start to see, you know what, I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to, because now you're not just conjuring up an image. Most people, I believe, want to be fair. They want fairness. They don't want somebody to be treated like having less opportunity, rights, advantage, whatever. But don't go putting yourself above everyone else like that. You have to, I don't want people going like you have to adopt my lifestyle. I exercise on a regular basis. I don't go around saying to people wagging my finger at them. If you don't do this, you're not like, people don't like that. And that's what happened to it. Now, I think I'd like to see people just be treated like people. Nobody should have a special day of anything. Honor your veterans, honor your parents. And beyond that, everybody stop doing the weeks and the days of everybody, with their own special day. You're not special. You're just like everybody else, and you should deal with that.
Yeah. 100%. One of the things we've seen is that these companies have just completely dropped it, but also celebrities, Nick. There's very little coming. I mean, maybe like a Billie Eilish, will post something, but most of the celebrities have been completely silent on Pride Month, and that's really different as well. And as we've thought out loud on the channel in the past, that may be due to what Andy's saying. The young people, they kind of view this whole thing as old fogies. This is what the older generation does as Pride Month, and they're disinclined, I think, to participate in it. And that means the merch is drying up because 50 and 60-year-olds going to Target are not going to support it like 15-year-olds would, and 15-year-olds aren't buying it.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember when we had ex-Disney, high-up Disney employee on our channel that was talking about the whole. So he was actually gay, and we had a conversation with him where he was saying, I don't want a Pride Month. And a lot of gay people don't want Pride Months, just like Morgan Freeman doesn't want, Black History Month. But, I think the shift, I think this is also a good possibility. I think the shift from the public marketing phase with a lot of these companies has gone to more internal programs. So companies have pretty much like reduced Pride themed advertising and all that sort of stuff, well, they are still continuing all that behind the scenes, within the company itself. And like Andy was saying, it's just not lucrative to a lot of them. I mean, you guys remember when Target during Pride Month had all the stuff out
underwear,
on
the underwear and the swimwear.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
Yeah,
nuked
for
a lot of
kids and
this.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
let's talk about that for a minute, though, Nick, because it's the plus sign that I think sunk this in entertainment and in merchandise. So, for example, the lady who was at Disney in the leaked videos that Christopher Rufo put out a couple of years ago. So one of the executives said that both of her kids identified in a way that would land in that plus sign on the like both of her kids. And neither one of them was, nearing adulthood. And I think that's when people said, "Oh, come on, this is enough of it," right? When you started having people who were like, "Well, my kid identifies as a squirrel," and we're like, "Is this real?" Oh, it is real. They've got the little tail in the back, and like that's when people had enough, and that's what destroyed this whole thing. And I'm not going to give my thoughts on morality or ethics of any of this stuff. I always hold that back, and I think we've been one of the fairest channels out there in terms of covering this authentically and accurately. But Nick, it's the plus sign where things got completely crazy and degenerate and all this weirdness, just exploded.
Yeah. I mean, it used to just be it just used to be LGBT, now it's LGBT. Then they had the Q, then they had the plus, it's like, if you keep giving these people like an inch, they will continue to take miles and miles, and just try to normalize this. And in my personal opinion, it's just not normal.
Yeah. So Lauren, if we look at the effect on entertainment, Microsoft, nothing. I mean, Halo, they're crazy though. Disney, nothing. Star Wars, nothing. Lucasfilm, nothing. Marvel, nothing.
Bungie,
Universal put out a single tweet. Bungie, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lauren, all of these companies that were completely all in on it, it just went away. It's like the Grinch that stole Christmas. The Grinch, but it's not the orange Grinch. Okay, it's not the orange Grinch. It's the market. This was always lifted up by a. How do I want to put this? This was a very weird Wall Street push. Maybe WEF. Maybe we should say that. Maybe that's where the push was coming from. What do you think about it, Lauren?
So I got a few things to say about it. And where I would start is it's not just that the companies that were pushing this weren't making the profits that they expected, so they dropped it. It was actually cutting into their profits because it was alienating their non-lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual, intersex, asexual, whatever identity you want to have, non-customers away. So they were then losing money. It was a losing proposition for them.
Lauren, because you brought up something really important when you said asexual.
Mm-hmm.
People who are asexual, in other words, they're just not attracted. They just don't want to have a relationship, right?
Yep.
They were listed in this giant acronym. And people who are like, you know what? I'm not in a relationship right now, and I'm not interested in a relationship, but I don't want to be lumped in with a movement with people who think they're ponies and are out riding bicycles unclothed.
This kind of comes into my next point, which is that I don't care what your orientation is. I'm not going to judge you as an individual based on that. I have friends that fall into these categories. I personally don't care what you're doing in your time.
And we're all God's baby. So you know what? I'm not here to be mean to anybody.
But when you're acting as a collective and applying pressure, I don't think this has anything to do with virtue. It's not about virtue, it's about power. And that's what we were talking about earlier. You had an ability to apply leverage to these companies to get special recognition. And that gives you a feeling of power. What you're feeling now, that you are not getting that special recognition, that you're not able to apply these forces upon a third party and get them to bend to your will, is disappointment that you have lost your power. That's not a virtue. That is a desire to dominate. And I would say the closest thing that you can apply this to in a non-sexual realm is you are forcing people who are not of your community to participate in a ritual that is designed to make you feel as though you're virtuous. The nearest thing that I can think of that you would apply that to is a team building exercise at work. The mandatory fun that Steve Carell is talking about in that clip in your intro. Nobody enjoys doing this thing unless you genuinely are close with your coworkers. But when you are forced to do this outside of company hours to spend time with people you don't necessarily want to spend time with, and you can't just go home at the end of the day, that builds resentment. If you're looking for some external force to validate you, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. That means you need to work on yourself to figure out why you feel inadequate and deal with that. Be happy with yourself. Don't look for that from some form of external validation, because that only leads to a path of ruin.
Here's the other thing, guys, and those are great points, Lauren. I said the plus thing was part of this, but that's not all, and I realized it. It was also going after kids. That's where the line got crossed to, and especially when this movement became associated with the idea that kids as young as like 5 years old were going to make irreversible decisions, or doctors and parents were going to make irreversible, highly lucrative decisions, but maybe not in the best interest, probably not in the best interest, almost certainly not in the best interest of the child, at a time when the child, has to be told, go brush your teeth. I don't care if you don't want to brush your teeth will rot out of your head. Oh, you want to make an irreversible, anatomical decision? Okay, well, suddenly you're an expert on that. No. And I think that also it brought the full-blown collapse. And I think maybe young people, if we're trying to figure out why did young people stop? Because it's the market, right? If the market wanted this, the companies would be making it. That's what's missing here. If the market wanted it, companies would make it because the companies want to make money from the market. I think what collapsed it, maybe even amongst young people, was the idea that, hey, they're irreversibly changing us. Wait a minute. Why are we the generation that is going through this? So I don't, guys, whoever wants it, take at it with that last one, and we'll wrap up there. What do you guys think about it?
I think you're when you're looking at making money, you have to go to the thing is going to sell, and the thing is going to sell is like there's some controversy. It's been around for years about like certain varieties of Barbie dolls, and they don't all sell equally. And it's, people are objecting to, well, why are these ones on clearance? Well, there's certain people in certain communities that don't necessarily buy those kinds of toys. But if you don't have them available, then that's another issue. But you have to do what the market says. You have to. It's like why Star Wars figures only sell in the classic trilogies. They don't in the prequel trilogies. You have to put out there what the market's going to buy, and that's why you'll see certain popular colors of automobiles go out there, and over they use those same colors because they sell. And every once in a while, somebody comes out with turtle puke green, and it sits on the dealership. Like 2 or 3 people buy them, and the rest of them get repainted or go back. The market should decide these things, and not guys like Larry Fink that say we should engineer society. Mao tried that, and under the force of tyranny, and couldn't actually make it happen. So why does he think that that's going to happen just because it's cash?
I'm with you, Andy, and we will, we'll keep an eye on this, folks. I think we've been the fairest channel out there in terms of covering this empathetically and objectively, accurately, etc. A lot of people don't like that we're covering this, but conversely, a lot of people say, I'm glad you're shining a light on the companies. Because frankly, folks, we just want them all to be, we want them to be all consistent. And once they're consistent, you understand why they're being what they're being, and the consistency that they are doing, folks, that's causing so many who support Pride to be losing, is they're consistently looking for money. And the money on Pride dried up. All right, Lauren, we've got a super chat that came in. I'm going to say it's unusual that the YouTubes will not allow the super chat to go up on the screen, but we're refused from being able to put the name of this super chatter up on the screen. But I will read that for $5, this individual sent shalom, everyone. And of course, shalom is the Hebrew word for peace. But unfortunately, the name that this person has would not be allowed by YouTube to be seen. So we want to say, we read the message, we see it, but the name can't go on the screen per YouTube rules. All right, Lauren, continue on, please.
All right. We've got Teddy D gifting 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Lauren, I believe now his name is 20D. 20D.
All right.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
Every time a membership is gifted, a content creator gets his wings.
Is that gendered language?
We're not at Magic Kingdom, Dad.
Lauren, is it true that a lot of our member exclusive content that's making its way over to that pod place, you're almost we're almost caught up now with Genre Guys? Is that right?
Very close. Within the next 3 to 4 days, I should have everything up there.
Folks, if you enjoy Genre Guys, and I know you do, go check it out on That Pod Place. It's at That Pod Place here on the YouTubes. Yes, Lauren?
Let me actually make that more clear. Everything will be behind the scenes up there and scheduled for release.
How long will it be going? I mean, how many Genre Guys episodes have there been?
There's actually a few that have been lost to the mists of time that were not there and I could not recover. But there's, I think there's over 100. The content that I have scheduled right now is going through October. So
now, the reason I bring that up is we have tremendous member content here, and we'll have more coming out. We've got some more plans for member content. So we want to say thank you to Teddy D. And folks, if you are wondering, what is the member content? One of those things is exclusive early access to Genre Guys. And then many months later, it goes over to That Pod Place. So thank you to 20D for helping us get so many people behind the scenes to see what's going on here. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, get over there and subscribe to That Pod Place today. Lauren will appreciate it. We'll appreciate it. And I think you'll appreciate it with all the great content over there.
Yep. Next up, we got Metalcore Breakdown becoming a YouTube member.
Welcome aboard. And I'm sure at an even higher level, we've got a VI Pro. We got a special lounge coming up later in the month. So folks, if you're high level members, get ready. We're going to be doing a special show just for you guys in the second half of June.
We got Patrick Ganaway for 5 saying, fact is, the L's, G's, and B's just want to live like everybody else and now want nothing to do with the rest of the alphabet people.
I'll say it once. I'll say it twice, folks. I've always thought the government needs to be out of the whole marriage thing. Hand that over to the churches and just do civil, agreements, next of kin agreements, that kind of thing, because kids are involved. So you got to have that ability in the medical situations. But get out of the marriage deal with the governments because, you got the Catholics who disagree about, divorce and all this kind of stuff. And I think marriage is a religious concept. So, and I'm supportive of that. So leave that up to the pastors and the priests and the rabbis and get the government out of it. Uncle Sam doesn't need to declare who is and who is not your husband, your spouse, your wife.
Yep.
Next up, we got Patrick Ganaway for another 5 saying, fun fact. The Department of War has gotten rid of all of these recognition months.
That's right. That's right.
Good on them.
Yep. We're tired of the full month. You know, if mom gets one day, mom brought you into the world. If mom doesn't get a month, nobody gets a month.
Yeah.
A metalcore breakdown for $1.99 saying, gay here. I'm okay with one day, but a whole month? No.
Isn't this amazing? I didn't know that was the super chat. Wow.
I know a lot of people that feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
We got Doge Pal for $2 saying, don't panic, pro. DeviantArt is still prideful.
We're down to, what was Lauren, do you remember what was the mall store that's still doing Pride? It wasn't Spencer's. It was the other one. What is that one? It's like who had heard of it? You know, it wasn't Abercrombie. Well, this is not a mall store, but Abercrombie and Fitch was still doing, Pride. They had listed the companies that are still doing it. And I'm like, I haven't heard of Abercrombie and Fitch since, the song from the 90s. I like girls who wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Take them if I had one wish.
The FTM 22 for $5.
She's been gone that summer. Oh, sorry. I thought you were Jonas for a minute. My bad.
If everyone is special, then no one is special. We should treat everyone with dignity and respect. Also, major public displays of affection is uncool. Get a room. That is all.
Yep. Humans are interesting in that we are a paradox, right? You should treat everybody as if they are the most special thing in the world, because they are. And yet, because everybody is that special, nobody is special. But yet you are. You're both. Everybody is of infinite value, and yet since everybody is of infinite value, and so by the way, what this creates is the dynamic where you have to actually decide who you are going to interact with, because you can't give everybody infinite time and worth and value, and that creates the family structure, then the friend structure, et cetera, et cetera. So it's an interesting way things work. But the reason that that it actually is probably true, well, it is true, that people are of infinite value, is because the more you treat people as if they matter, the more that they'll like you, the more that they'll value you, the better that your life will be if you treat others that way. So, for example, why do you hold the door for the person that you'll never see again in your lifetime? Because you want to be the kind of person who does that. And with repetition, you will encounter people that you will see again and again. And if you are the kind of person who values others with that kind of thing, the world will unfold itself to you in a way that orchestrates everything as it should be. And that's it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing.
Wolf of the Gruffle III for $5. I went to the dentist today, walked near a movie theater, and bought hand soaps. Pro, you could say that today I lived.
Wait a minute here. Let me put all this together. Hang on. Dentist, theater, hand soap. That is a very interesting series of events, Woofle. Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget to floss.
My wife bought Mandalorian.
Are you still married?
That's right. Sorry, Lauren. My wife bought a Mandalorian and Grogu foaming hand soap.
Yeah. Marv reviewed it, and then he sent me his discarded Mando soap, and I discovered that it's at my home. Thank you, Marv. Thanks, buddy. That's what I wanted.
R.R. Smith 9479 for $5. Lauren, thanks for explaining Splinter of the Mind's Eye. That was the first Star Wars book I read when I was 13.
Yeah. The original sequel to the original movie.
Yep.
That Disney still isn't paying him for.
And B.A. Sykes 1701 for $10. The car thing is real. Starting in the 2027 model year, it was passed by a Dem Congress in 2021, and the repeal attempt was made in 2025, but failed thanks to more than 50 GOP defections.
Well, that's no surprise, eh? So there's mandatory dash cam in every single car that's produced in 2027?
As a guy who drives a truck and it sits up a little bit higher, they'll probably be selling some of that information to Pornhub.
Gonna be a premium, I would say, on people buying 1980s Broncos real soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the deal. Unlike in the UK, the US has a very amazing system, and this will be bypassed. People will just cover the little camera on the dash cam and say, screw that. And because of that, and because of the fact that the Trump administration and probably whoever, follows the Trump administration is not going to follow up on any of it, just go away. You just cover the camera up and say, nope, you're not going to intrude into my vehicle. Now, do I think it would be great if cars had a detection system to detect alcohol in your breath and then wouldn't drive if you're inebriated? Okay, cool. But the dash cam thing creates a privacy issue. If everybody is forced to have a dash cam, that's a major privacy issue. And if cars are going to be connected to the internet, and they are, we don't want dash cams as a requirement because, as we said before with Wiz, the government will screw it up and it'll all be breached and all your data will go out there and, all that kind of stuff. And plus, I mean, do you really want some of the things you do when you think you're in private, in your car? When you pick your nose, do you really want the government to see you picking your nose? When you go double nostril? I mean, I never go double nostril, but somebody out there is going double nostril and it's not pretty.
You never go double nostril to mouth, Pro. Never.
Oh, nostril to mouth. Oh. Ooh.
Irate specialist for $4.99. For every time Lauren gets out of line, it's another episode of Acolyte for you. Pro knows how to keep folks in line.
By the way, if people didn't know the reference Nick was making, there's a South Park episode for you somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Involves a fish. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nick says, yeah, we're on the same line. All right, we got one more story, and let's see. Are we going to get this super chat? We are 12 away, guys. We might do it. It would be a stretch. It would be a stretch to get to 12, yes.
Programming note, before we get to the next story, Nick has got to jump out.
Yeah. I had a work emergency pop up. That's what the phone call is for, and I got to call some people and get this fixed ASAP.
Nick, it's 11:30 at night. What do you do, Nick?
I'm a systems administrator for a hospital.
Well, you know what? You make it real hard to deny you, folks.
Yeah. So my job's kind of important.
However many people we have lost at Nick's hospital due to that last segment, I want to apologize. We did not mean.
Yeah, it's not anything life threatening. That's why I wasn't like, guys, I gotta go right this second. But it is.
The ER is collapsing as we speak. All right, Nick, dive out, man. Dive.
Yep. Thanks for being here, guys. Always a pleasure.
Nick, we've got so many people who joined. So give us the 30 seconds. Why should they be watching EBN tomorrow?
Me and Coach have something huge dropping tomorrow. It could be one of the hugest things that's ever dropped on our channel. We've been working on it all day today, but stay tuned. Like this is like on national level news.
Hey, Nick, when that drops, please let me know, and I will send that out to every one of my subscribers as well. I want you guys deserve, because you told me what it is. You guys deserve for this to go far and wide. So let's give it every signal boost we can.
Yeah, and you guys can see us if you're in the Nashville area. We'll be at ICCC Con this Thursday. Andy is going to be there with us as well. Gay Ambrosia, Mexican Iron Man, me, Coach. Anybody else on the panel going to be there?
What about Derek? Is Derek making it this time?
Yeah, Derek is. Last time I talked to him, he said he was pretty sure he was going to make it. Okay. Yeah,
you never know who might show up, folks.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So if you guys are in the Nashville area, it's actually in Murfreesboro, just south of Nashville. But ICCC Con, you can Google it and you'll find all the information. But man, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys, and I'll talk to all of you soon.
Later, Nick.
Bye, guys.
Good to see you, Nick.
See you, Nick.
See y'all.
All right, and hopefully he saves the ICU, the NICU, everybody at the emergency room. Go, Nick, go. Geez, Lauren, tell me next time there's a whole hospital that's just trying to stay online and we're holding them back. I can't do that.
I was not aware. I learned it at the same moment that you did.
We already offended the South Dakotans. Now we're slowing down the efforts to save a hospital. Bad night. Wait. Let's see. Are we still monetized and all that stuff? Hang on. We played the BBC. Surely they've taken us down by now. I can't believe this.
Don't give them any ideas.
I'm not trying to, Lauren. I don't want to, encourage them. No, we're still good. Unbelievable. Okay. Lauren, we've got 4 more super chats. Let's hit those, and then we are going straight to our final story.
All right. We've got I'm Just Me for $4.99 saying, I've started so many messages tonight, but I'd probably get fired. So instead, my thought is, keep going strong.
And you keep going strong as well. I'm Just Me. We need people like you, in fact, just like you, checking out what's happening here with us. Thank you for being there.
And we have J Light Lady 7596 for $5 saying, towards the goal.
Toward the goal.
Captain Nemo for $5 saying, I want Jonas's Kruger avatar back.
Okay. Whoa. Nobody wants the Kruger avatar back. What are you up to? What are you doing? Captain Nemo, what are you doing? Okay. Let's not give him ideas. It wasn't pleasant. We're zooming in right now to have a personal one-on-one conversation. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants Jonas to look like that ever again.
You serious, Clark?
Serious, Eddie.
J Light Lady for $5 said a purple heart.
Thank you.
Followed by a yellow or golden heart for another $5.
I think it's a yellow heart. I think that's a yellow heart, Lauren. The color of friendship.
Followed by a pink heart for another $5.
The pink heart is probably for you, Lauren. Pink is the color of, red is the color of deep romance, but pink will be the color of
cotton candy.
Yes. Cotton candy.
Which happens to be the way to my heart.
Oh, I thought it was chicken. All right, folks, let's dive into the final story. And you've never seen so many millionaires whining and crying and we don't have as much money as we want. Let's talk about that. Hey, millionaires, and maybe even some billionaires, we're coming for you. Well, Elon Musk is now a trillionaire, the first trillionaire in history. And the millionaires of the world, they're so sad, they're so angry. And some of them are the same celebrities that you know well. Manya Saini and Nikit Nishant from Reuters are writing this one. SpaceX IPO makes Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. Do you all know about this? Few business leaders have been as deeply embedded in popular culture as Elon Musk, the ambitious entrepreneur who has become a central figure in internet culture and amassed a fortune that has made him the world's first trillionaire. At a time when concerns about inequality are high and public attitudes toward the ultra-wealthy have soured, Musk has managed to retain a loyal following despite his stratospheric net worth and without the folksy persona that endeared other tycoons such as Warren Buffett to the masses. But folks, not everybody is happy, and politicians and celebrities, they're definitely in there. Wolfgang Richter, who is a leader in the EU, says Elon Musk has become a trillionaire. If we confiscated, boy, don't you love this, Lauren? Don't you love this, Andy, when the first thing they think is confiscation? If we confiscated just 15% of his wealth, we could clean up all the oceans. Sure you would. Eliminate poverty. Yeah, I bet you would. And literally make the world into a utopia. That's when you know they're creepy, when they think they could usher in the utopia. Instead, he chooses to indulge in his phallic obsession with rockets and wants to build data centers in space. Because these people are ultra anti-future and anti-technology and anti-progress. You can't even move electricity from space to Earth. Dumbest idea ever. All the best, Wolfgang. All right, so they're talking about confiscation already. Elizabeth Warren says Elon Musk just became the world's first trillionaire. The typical American household should have to work more than 11 million years to make Elon Musk's level of wealth. Well, now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Elon Musk built SpaceX, Tesla, XAI, and all of these companies that have this value, and that's why he is worth $1 trillion, because he built companies. His wealth is it sits in these companies. It's not like he can just remove it. And I want to go back real quick to Wolfgang Richter saying this. If Elon Musk, if you confiscated 15% of his wealth, what you would actually have to do is confiscate his companies. By force, you would have to say, well, we will now have 15% of SpaceX,
which is what they call that.
Company. What is that exactly, Lauren? Do you know that name?
I believe it starts with an F.
Oh, fascism. I think we got it. Jimmy Kimmel isn't happy that Elon Musk is a trillionaire, calls it unsettling. We can read it. Do we really want to read it? Okay, fine. We'll read it. Let's go down here what he said. Kimmel slammed the financial milestone. Of course he did, Kimmel. Well, his wife probably did it. He read the transcript. Elon Musk is expected to become the first ever trillionaire in the history of the world Kimmel, who is a geezer, said. And what makes that even more unsettling is this man, our first trillionaire, the richest man in the world, is also one of the weirdest people we've ever seen on this planet. Boy, they're heavy hitters now. Here's Elizabeth Warren. Elon Musk just became the world's first trillionaire. This needs to be a wake-up call. Here's Elizabeth Warren, what she had to say. And I'm going to bring this home to entertainment, folks, because that's what we cover. I'm going to tell you why this has huge entertainment implications. Here's Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren.
Elon Musk is officially the world's first trillionaire. Think about that. We're living in a time when more and more people are just hanging on by their fingernails to survive in this economy. And Elon Musk has more money and more wealth than anyone in human history. I want to be clear. This is not just some fluke. It is a feature of a rigged economy.
Hey, before we go any further into this, Andy, how did Pocahontas become a millionaire?
Well, she started school by going and saying that she was an ethnic minority because she had high cheekbones. Took advantage of grants that were put aside for Native Americans, which she wasn't one. So
Whoa, she's not a Native American, Andy.
Which she probably took out of the hands of a legitimate Native American, which she probably never paid back. I think I saw a thing today where 50% of Congress are millionaires and 1% of the American public are millionaires. So how is it that they all tend to become millionaires when they go in making a salary of less than $200,000 a year? Like AOC, who is worth, what, $19 million or $29 million now?
And her career prior to Congress was a barista. Is that right?
Yeah, bartender. And,
not even a barista, bartender, yeah.
And she still had to pay off her student loan debt, so it's probably worth even more. Now, the other thing she says that Elon Musk is worth more than anyone in history. Well, there's also more money in circulation now than there ever has been in human history.
Right.
They don't understand anything about, like, it's not a zero-sum game. It's something that grows and you create wealth. They just confiscate wealth and they waste it. As Nick Shirley has pointed out, we know where it goes now, which all these places that do this fraud ends up doing kickbacks to one party in office, and which is very odd to me. Somebody put a thing out there, like, I'm not concerned about how a millionaire or a trillionaire made their money. I am concerned about how became that. But what about members of Congress and the government that become that rich? How did they get their money?
They're grifters, Andy. They're grifters and they're hyenas. And when somebody succeeds, what they say is, you didn't earn that, and we want it. That's what they say. So if you get a big house, even though they have a bigger house usually, because that's all they care about, they'll say, we want that now. That we'll take that, please. And they're just awful people. But celebrities are joining in with this, of course, and celebrities are awful people as well. Now, not everybody agrees with Elon and not everybody likes Elon, but that's okay. Let's set that to the side for a moment. What Elon is doing with his companies is he's making a lot of other people very, very, very rich, because people who invested in these companies that are now succeeding, they're launching into millionaire status. So Elon Musk has probably made more people millionaires than any other person on the planet. Now, I want to go to a comedian, though, who has a lot to say about this. Probably one of our favorite comedians. He's at least up there with Norm Macdonald. Folks, here's the response back to Pocahontas. Would you look at that? It's Chatto.
I'm in a car. I just heard that Elon Musk became a trillionaire. That's crazy. His SpaceX company went public and it made Musk a trillionaire. I can't even comprehend what that means. It's so huge. I guess he can afford to eat out every day and not live with his parents. But what about me? What does it do for me? What kind of system would let someone work hard, take risks, build companies, and employ hundreds of thousands of people and then reward them for their efforts? I'm not rewarded with $1 trillion for my efforts. I have a degree in feminist puppetry, and I only make minimum wage. Well, I used to make only minimum wage. I lost my job to an immigrant who gets their wages subsidized by the Canadian government. Sure, thousands of Musk's employees are now millionaires. But what about me? The Canadian government creates millionaires the old-fashioned way. Liberal Party corruption and overpaying for failed projects. Come to Canada, where entrepreneurial success is not tolerated.
He's too good at this. Really, I mean, he's too good at it. He's emulated them down. It's uncanny. It's just uncanny. All right. All kidding aside, and we love Paul. Can't wait to have Paul back on the show. Lauren, here's why they hate Elon. The celebrities, the politicians. Lauren, do you remember when, and we played this over and over and over, do you remember when Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney, tried to destroy Elon by telling Elon, we're going to cut the advertising on X. The Disney company's going to do that. And all these companies followed suit. Do you remember that? You remember that?
I certainly remember Elon's response.
Yeah, Elon said, go blank yourself, Bob, if you're in the audience, right?
Yep.
Lauren, when Elon did that, Elon's net worth, I believe, was about $200 billion.
Yep.
As of recording, it's $1.3 trillion.
Yep.
They thought when he bought X, he was a crazy man and they could destroy him. And instead, Lauren, and this is where we get to entertainment, and people can have all kinds of opinions about Elon. Instead, it's the number one news app in the world. Governments are trying to shut it down because they hate free speech. Elon is bypassing that by sending these Starlink satellites into space, which will deliver internet anywhere, anytime, no matter, just bypass your laws and your sovereign rules. Everybody gets the internet from the United States through Starlink. And with this Colossus supercomputer and his AI, and now leasing the Colossus supercomputer to Anthropic, Elon is going to be the head of media. Flat out. People are going to be making all kinds of films and cartoons and movies using AI, and they're going to be posting on X via his satellites. And he's the only game in town on a lot of this stuff. Elon conquered the message, the media, saved free speech. Again, you can think he's weird. He probably is. That's okay. But Lauren, he beat them, and they can't stand it.
Well, yes, but the problem with Elon's empire is that it is entirely centered upon Elon, which makes him a single point of failure. Were something to happen to Elon, the companies would continue, but his genius would be lost. And
is
that
that
is a
not the
problem.
same with Steve Jobs, though?
It is, but that is a problem. Have you seen Apple innovate since Steve Jobs passed away?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I just think that Elon is the same as Steve Jobs. He's gonna run those companies until he doesn't run anymore.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is that there's more than one way to skin a cat. If you can't buy him, if you can't legislate against him, if you can't stop him, you can stop him, if you take my meaning.
We like Elon in the United States, and I don't recommend that Elon go a lot of places. And I recommend that Elon have great security, because we want Elon to be around as long as possible, right? And we don't wish violence on anybody whatsoever. But Andy, that's why they hate the trillionaire status. That, and the fact that these celebrities and these politicians, they're not happy with their millions. They're not happy so long as they're anywhere less than number one. It drives them crazy that anybody else defeated them and got to the trillion first. That's what they hate.
Especially because those people have actually built something. The Elon Musks of the world, even Jeff Bezos, as kind of kooky as he is with his exploding rockets and destroying Tolkien, he's actually created something. I mean, think about all the things that Amazon has done. I'm sure there's a lot less traffic on the roads because people get stuff delivered to their houses instead of driving to the stores themselves. Everybody I know uses Amazon on a pretty much regular basis, especially the women in my house.
But you know the weird thing about Amazon, Andy? The strange thing about Amazon is, and I'm not trying to put down Bezos. I'm really not. I mean, he is. There are so few people like him. But the thing about Amazon is, if Sears was doing what Amazon does. Sears has the catalog for 100 years. Sears they pulled a Blockbuster, and that opened the door to Amazon to go from being a little online bookstore to dominating the market, because Sears said, well, we're not going to be online. We're not going to do that. and Amazon became the modern Sears. And that's a little different because I think Elon has stepped into completely new industries, and kind of, but I say that and that feels like I'm denigrating Bezos, and that's probably not good.
Well, Musk is definitely something unique. He's somebody who is, you can't dispute there's all kinds of disclaimers about it. Well, he wasn't that involved with this. He was only accidentally, whatever, he took government grants, whatever.
Yeah. You can believe that once or twice. On the 15th time, I'm over the accidents.
Yeah, he's an innovator. He thinks outside the box. He challenges things. I believe he's literally looking for solutions that could end this human species, taking it to the next step. Whereas a lot of people just want to hold us back down and put us back in the Stone Age with all these environmental protocols that they want to do that bankrupt everyone. Musk actually comes up with ideas and tries them out and makes them successful. And I think that's what they hate the most, is they hate to see someone who actually does the things that they can't do, because it makes them less special in their eyes when they're really not special at all, because they don't do anything except Elon Musk has paid more money to the American tax revenue than any other human being that's ever lived. And that's not enough for you?
And
what did he say to Bob?
Yeah, and well, go blank yourself, Bob. So Andy makes fantastic points. You make fantastic points. Lauren, I think also, now that I think about it, what I think drives them nuts too is he's figured out how to bypass them. They love controlling the narrative. They love controlling speech. They love censorship. Look at the UK. And he's found a way to deliver the internet free and open and fair to everybody all over the world. And I don't know, you were talking about security and deletion concerns. He is going up against entire nations at this point. He has more power. Like, okay, think about that for a minute, Lauren. How many nations actually have more power than Elon as an individual who runs these companies now?
This is exactly why I was making the point that I was. I saw somebody in the chat who I think misunderstood what I was saying. I was not calling for violence against Musk. What I was saying is that is a very serious concern, and that Elon is a unique kind of genius, something that is interesting. No matter what you think of Elon, if you think he's a weird guy or whatever, I would say, so what? There's lots of weird guys.
How'd you get to the top without being weird is what I would say.
But there seems to be a phenomenon that it's kind of like you think about in every colony of ants, there is a queen. There is something that generates a queen for that colony. And when the queen is present, a pheromone is distributed that prevents any other queens from being generated. You have something that happens in the human population that it seems like once or twice every century, you get a unique kind of genius. You get, for instance, a Da Vinci or a Michelangelo or an Einstein or a Tesla or a Jobs, and now we have a Musk. There seems to be some individual in every era that pushes things forward to such a tremendous degree. Their brain works in a way that is completely unique. It allows them to bypass the normal timeline for progress, let's say. And so you have to be thankful for those individuals when they appear. My fear in the case of Musk is that he represents such a colossal threat to so many different powerful entities. It's really easy to think that this guy's figured out a way around them. It's like, there's been lots of times in the past when I have thought that was the case. It's like the internet is one of those phenomenons. There was a period in time when I thought there was no way that you would be able to subvert the way that the internet worked because of its distributed nature and DNS. And boy, did they figure out a way to get around that. The government simply, through various legislative means, essentially put taps at all of the major meet-me points for every ISP. They sniff and filter all of your traffic, every last bit of it, which at the time that we were discussing those kinds of things, I'm talking back during the Clinton administration when they were talking about Magic Lantern, thought it was a pipe dream. There's no way that will ever work. It's too big. Well, it turns out, no, it's not too big. You just have to apply pressure in the correct places. So that's why I would say he has a nice idea, but he has to find a way to protect it and to protect himself and to somehow put all of the work that is involved in making that happen beyond the reach of nations. And that I don't think is possible. So I am, as usual, I'm going to be the guy that is not as optimistic as you are, but I would much rather that you be correct.
Well, I just think, you know, Elon pretty much saved free speech. Pretty much did. I think that Elon pretty much saved AI from being a woke monstrosity through this Grokopedia and putting pressure. By the way, his play, I talked about this on the Patreon, his play to put Anthropic on Colossus 1 and 2 while he builds Colossus 3 for Grok, that is so genius. Because he hates ChatGPT because he feels it's woke. And Anthropic, the only thing holding them back was they were starved for computation. And he put that thing on Colossus 1 2. He released that. And they released Mythos and Fable. The U.S. government had to shut it down. And it'll be back. The power, what we were watching that was crazy was, once Anthropic had access to the world's most powerful supercomputer under Elon, it was building N64 level games in an hour on single prompts. And that begs the question, how many prompts and how many hours would it take for it to build, like, you know, full-blown PlayStation 5, Xbox, you know, games and Nintendo Switch 2 games, etc. What's on the horizon with Elon is, I think, incredible. And they can't stop him through any legitimate means anymore. I think they're either going to do something vicious, and we pray every day that doesn't happen, or the sky is the limit at this point. Fair?
I'll just say again, my fear is that he's a single point of failure. I agree with you that putting those models on a Colossus gives him a control.
Yep.
But what happens when he is not in control? Eventually, he will not be in control, and somebody else will be. And will that person have the foresight, the knowledge, and the ethics necessary to maintain containment? That,
Not
I
if
think,
it's
is a different question.
Pocahontas. Not if it's Pocahontas, Lauren. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Lauren, I did not think we were going to hit the goal tonight. And we did, and we went beyond. So, Lauren, let's read these super chats. Actually, I'll tell you what, Lauren, you gather the AMA. So, folks, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do AMAs, and that means you can just throw any question you'd like at Lauren, Andy, or myself. And so long as we can possibly answer it without doxing or anything like that, we're going to do our best to answer it to the best of our ability. So, type in AMA, and Lauren, you star 12 of those, okay? And I'll get the super chats while you do that. All right, folks, here we go. We've got from Fitty D, a.k.a. 20D tonight for $4.99, helping Jay White Lady. Thank you. And Jay White Lady with the, is that blue or purple, Lauren? What would you say? Is that a blue heart?
That's blue to me.
Okay. Now, a blue heart now is a broken heart. Let's not be sad out there. Teddy D for $4.99. Oops. Jay Light Lady. Sorry. And then we've got a green heart, very lucky, a red heart, passionate and true. And J Light Lady coming back with 5 says, goal. Thank you, J Light Lady. I wish we had a clip just for you, but instead we'll say a huge thank you straight from the hamsters.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
Thinking Heretic for 5. I heard Elon lives in a humble house, but has a huge basement. Na 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 na. Wait, that's not the right na 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 na. Thinking Heretic. Yeah, I think Elon has in his factories and his warehouses bedrooms, so that when he's there, he can work from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. But I get the joke. I get the joke. Medical breakdown for $1.99. Millionaires complaining about wealth equals oxymorons. Medical breakdown, I would take the oxy off. We've got Patrick for 5. Elon is short-circuiting the NIMBY problem by putting data centers in space. Problem solved. I'll tell you this too. Yeah, it's true. He's going to put them in space, and there are advantages to that. But I think the economies are going to move from blue states. I think a lot of people have already recognized this. because the data centers are going in places like Texas and Tennessee and Mississippi and a few other places. As soon as those states figure out how to tax the tokens years down the road, you're talking about more valuable than oil. And these signs in people's yards that say no data center here, I think, yeah. See how that goes in about 10, 15 years. Because, man, you talk about the economy's moving, shifting. New rad for 5. A fine is a fee for doing wrong. A tax is a fee for doing well. Them suggesting a tax is simply a vindictive attempt to punish him for succeeding. Oh, new rad, they're not talking about taxes. They just move straight to confiscation. They just, give me, I want it. It's mine. How dare you? Patrick for 5. Elon is going to need that $2 trillion. He'll need it to build chip factories, battery factories, satellite factories, robot factories, etc. Well, that's what Terraforma and MacroHard are all about. Elon says, although I doubt this one, that he's going to exceed the throughput of Taiwan when it comes to the chip manufacturing. Patrick for 2. Elon is helping out in Ukraine and Iran, but not for the baddies. That's true. He did. All right, let's get to Teddy D, and then we're going to get these AMAs. Hail, Light Lady, for getting us to the goal. And don't deny, not this time, Fitty D, you were part of it too, as you so often are. But thank you, J Light Lady, truly. All right, let's see. We've got one more super chat from Doge Pal for 2. The amazing digital circus with a 90% 4-day drop. Yeah, well, I think it's a special case. But it was fun watching it beat Mando. That was interesting indeed. All right, here we go. Woofle. Pro, did Culture finally go to the post office? I am told yes, but with Culture, he is a man of mystery. And remember that Pro is on the road right now, so until I get back to somewhere sunny USA, I will not know for sure, but I'll look and see, has the package from Culture arrived? I know that we've also got one from Dragon Queen. Cape Canaveral, say you have 0 connections, tech savvy, or even a bank account, but you desperately need a business partner. Can you do it? How? I'm not kidding. The way that you do that, if you are not, okay, you have 0 connections. Well, that's a big problem. Tech savvy, if you're not tech savvy in today's world, that's a big problem. And there is no bank account. Well, that's also a big problem. So you've listed out 3 very, very, very big problems. So given that we have 3 huge problems here, the most likely thing I would do is to solve one of those or 2 of those. Like one of those is a big problem, but if we can solve 2 of them, that's better. And if I can't solve 1 or 2 of those problems, the best next thing that I would try to do is ingratiate myself with someone, but then I'm back to saying, well, wait a minute, didn't I just solve the 0 connection issue? So I think you got to solve 1 or 2 of these. I think definitely the 0 connections. I don't see how you do almost anything without connections at all.
Well, the good news is anybody can open a bank account. So I would that seems to me to be the easiest one to the easiest one to solve. And actually, while talking to the bank guy, maybe you can gain some connections there to find out who the next person that you need to talk to is. Tech savvy is actually less of a problem than you think it is, I think, because that's where those connections could come in. If you are not tech savvy and are not apt to be tech savvy, there are people who may be interested in whatever business that you're providing, taking a cut for being your tech guy. So if you have something that's viable, the main things you need to solve are the bank account and the 0 connections.
Yep. And as far as a business partner, it's kind of like a romance. You got to give somebody a reason to believe in you. And then you have to do that in a way that's actually sustainable. So if you give them a toxic positivity, that's also a problem, right? If you make a promise you're not going to fulfill, that's going to go very, very badly, and you're going to regret it deeply. But if you have something you can sell, and it's something you can succeed with in the future, not based on a hope and a dream, but you really can do this, well, there's somebody out there who wants to take that ride. Donovan says, favorite underrated creature feature film for me, Lake Placid, a creature feature film. Lauren, what would you say?
Lake Placid's a good pull. I actually like that one. I haven't seen it in years, and it would be a good one to rewatch. I just watched with my son an 80s film it's short. It's a kiddie horror movie. It's called The Monster Squad. I'd never seen it before, but I actually had a great time. So I'd put that one up there.
Shane Black movie.
Is it okay if I cheat and say Jurassic Park?
I'll go for Tremors.
Okay.
I wish I'd said that.
Can we count Jurassic Park as a creature feature?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's best. All right. We've got DL Findell. How in the world did you attract so many insightful people to your network, Pro? I mean, really? Lauren, Andy, and that Lou guy? Superb. Hey, we love Lou. And by the way, folks, hope you do too. Looks like Findell's a fan. Lou will be stopping by Wednesday night. So get your hump day hopes up. And the ghost will be back. We've got Chief William Schweikert out there. What can Elon do to keep his legacy from being used in a way he never intended? Okay, here's an honest answer to that, and it's been almost impossible to come up with this because look what they've done to Walt, right? He's a robot in Disneyland promoting Bob Iger stuff.
Well, I would say that Elon has made enough kids to try and lord over his empire. Hopefully he's got some barons in there.
I don't know that this will work. Elon can upload every speech, everything he's ever written, every secret transcript he's got into AI and say, here's my AI avatar. Tell him what I really believed. And I don't think that will work, but it's a shot. Vincent Collins says, if you could remake any movie with AI generation, what one would you go for? Okay, so we're remaking a movie with AI generation. Do we have to remake it? Okay, this can go two ways. Are we remaking it just as is, but increasing the quality, or are we remaking it in order to change it? If we're remaking it, change it. I'm going to change The Last Jedi. No, wait a minute. Would I do that, or would I change Crystal Skull? You know what? I changed my mind. Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Look at Lauren. Look at Lauren. Lauren is so confused by that.
I'm not confused. I'm trying to decide if I'm angry or not. In what way would you change it?
We're not swinging on the vines anymore, Lauren. The vines are not going to be there anymore. I'm going to change the last 2/3 of the film. When they get to is it Peru they go to start digging?
Well,
from that point forward, the whole movie is going to be changed. I'm going to keep the whole first, third, fourth.
I'm with you for the last third. I think 2/3 is too much.
See, I would go back and change it for them to go after like the Spear of Destiny or something, like a religious artifact again, instead of the aliens thing. I know Lucas said it was the aliens were the MacGuffin of the 60s, and that's why he wanted it. But I think there was a trend there with the religious artifacts that should have been maintained.
I would AI out Shia LaBeouf, and I would put Short Round in. And I would change the story there. They can run into Marion, but Short Round's going to be the guy who shows up, and he's been doing, archaeology. He's followed in the way of Indy. Indy didn't know. That's how I'm going to do it. Lauren, you got to answer.
All right, so I'm actually going to give the same answer because you inspired me with what you just said. Instead of doing Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I would do the one that I pitched to you that was the same era. So you're still in the middle of the Cold War. It still involves the communists. But it is, my theory was you have a religious artifact Cold War where the Russians have in their hands the Spear of Destiny. The American government has the Ark of the Covenant. Both of those artifacts supposedly granted the holder of them invincibility in battle. And so the question then becomes, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? And the idea for me was that Indy, with a Russian female counterpart, has to then retrieve these artifacts from their respective governments and lose them so that they cannot be used in a religious nuclear Armageddon. It's basically a religious placeholder for the nuclear arms race with religious artifacts.
Lauren, will you do me a favor? Will you grab the next AMA, please?
Whoops. Yeah, except for I just clicked off of them. There we go. Striker 31. Thoughts on Xbox Studio closure news?
And they destroyed their Xbox has been in a 20-year decline, and the woke mind virus destroyed what they've been working on. They have chased gimmicks. We can go back to Kinect and how they could have given us something very powerful and been, confident in it. And instead they gave us a watered down toy and, silly Project Milo stuff. I mean, we're going way back at that point. They let Bungie go and replaced it with a bunch of, folks who had no idea what they were doing, destroyed their Halo franchise. They let Gears of War, go into obscurity. I can keep going on and on and on about this company and Microsoft buying up studios and destroying them. I mean, look what they did to Rare. I mean, my gosh, Rare is a legendary studio and it's name only now. So this is, even if you're a Microsoft, this is the ultimate conclusion of bad decisions. And it's why we talk about Disney all the time here and say, this is the future of Disney unless they change. How's that?
Well, it's also happening to them on their OS side of the house as well. This is a long overdue comeuppance for the arrogance and hubris of the Microsoft Corporation. So while it's somewhat stunning to see in the sense that how can you screw something up so badly, there's also a little bit of schadenfreude here. You sort of want to revel in how they have so badly mismanaged this after abusing their customers for so long.
We've got Karen Owen. Can I subvert expectations and be on the genre guys? That's a Lauren question.
Is that a me question? I wasn't sure if that was a me question or a you question.
No, that's a you question.
We typically keep to the three hosts, or at least we try to, because it gets a little contentious even with three. We do bring in guest hosts when somebody can't make it. So if we have an opening that opens up, then I'll keep you in mind and send you a message and see if you're available.
Karen, I'm hoping that Lauren gets that availability. I would love to see you on the genre guys. The FTM 22, since Disney has kind of gone off the deep end, where would you plan your vacation? Well, if you're doing theme parks, I would either go to Epic Universe or to Dollywood. And if I get to choose anywhere to tell you to go on a vacay, oh gosh, where would I, if we're, I don't know you well enough. I don't know your family well enough. I mean, do you have teenagers? All these kinds of things come into play in terms of where you should go on your vacay. I always find Charleston, South Carolina to be a great place if you love seafood, right? So that's a phenomenal place to go check out. I love the Grand Canyon if you love hiking and depending on the time of year. If you love the smell of Christmas trees, why not stop by Flagstaff? It always smells that way. I mean, we can go through all the places you could go. I think Oklahoma is a beautiful state that's underrated. We could keep going and going, but where would I myself plan my next vacation? Greensville, South Carolina for the Southeast Game Exchange. Come July 17 through whatever it is, folks, come check it out. We're not going to do the spiel. It's too late now. D.L. Findell is back again with another AMA. Is Pocahontas wrong? I mean, surely the pharaohs are Roman Emperor. Lord, how did you let this one get through again? This is not, no, we're not doing a double one. That guy. Ashley Blake says, favorite book of all time. All right. My favorite book is Maps of Meaning by Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. It is an incredibly difficult read, but it'll change the way you see psychology in the world. Lauren, what say you?
Treasure Island.
Andy?
Man's Search for Meaning.
Ooh, yeah. Medical breakdown. Do you think Elon would be the one picked in a real life Hail Mary project? Nope. No, he would not. Because Elon would probably be worth more on Earth than in space. And finally, Blue Sharky says, how do you not let the anxiety of the world get to you? Well, the answer to that is anxiety is actually a healthy indicator. You don't want to sit in it, because if you sit in it, it means that the red lights should, you shouldn't be in a situation where the red lights continue going on and on and on and on. But anxiety is your internal red light system. It tells you that you are in a place where the likelihood of danger is high. And it's telling you to change your direction. Now, that can fire inappropriately if you've been through enough trauma that you're having a false flag event biologically, psychologically. That can happen. But in terms of the anxiety of the world, well, it's because ultimately I believe that, there is a positive place that humanity is going. And because of that, the ebbs and flows of the present time, although they may be deeply negative, I look and I say, I'm sitting in air conditioning. I'm speaking to thousands of people right now, and thousands of people are here listening. I think this is probably the most exciting time to be alive, and every day is a gift from God. So let's get out there and go get it. Let's see what happens, right? Make the world a better place, whether it's your bedroom or your house or your lawn, or whether you can go beyond and help others. Get out there and make the world a better place. It actually matters, even the mundane, and treat everybody with the utmost dignity and respect, and see how the world unfolds to you. All right, Lauren.
Can I offer another one?
No. Okay.
Have a pet. It actually helps.
When the weight of the world has got you down, Lauren says get a pet, and I agree with that. When there are times, Lauren can tell you, I can tell you, Andy, I bet can tell you, there are times when you will get sucker punched in 100 different ways, and it does make a big difference if somebody's waiting there for you, happy that you exist, whether that's a dog or a pup or a cat, whatever it is, not a gerbil or a goldfish. That's not enough. But get a pet. If you're in that place, it's okay. It's okay to say, I just need somebody here that cares. And remember, folks, somebody always cares. I promise. Ladies and gents, that's the end, but we'll be back yet again. More content on the way. Pro show tomorrow and one early in the AM. We're going to get to work on it. Lauren and I and our good buddy pal, our editor out there. Folks, we'll see you real soon. Get over there to Andy Masterson and check him out on the Doomcock. And don't forget, our friends at EBN have one heck of a reveal tomorrow. National news from Coach and Nick. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. See you soon, folks.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint. They're not gonna catch us.
We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still he got back to his feet. Standing man.